she's still maintaining she didn't lie to me, but she lied to me. Now she's saying she didn't lie, she got me on a technicality. Like, that's so much better. Like, that's so much better. Ho ho, I didn't lie. I weaseled. Yeah. I was weaseled. I was weaseled by my own wife, chat. She has no shame about it. No shame, no regrets. She's laughing at me right now. Oh! Alright. Although the area was directly attached to the ocean, the inside and outside pressure were the same, keeping the ocean water out of the room. It was the same as turning a cup of water upside down and pushing it in water. They all stopped in their tracks and studied their surroundings tensely as if waiting for an alarm to go off. There was no sign of anyone. Anyway, let's get to where we have to go. They opened a watertight door at the other side of the room and continued deeper into the installation. The examination room. The kid and Yu placed Koko, who they'd been carrying, on a nearby bed. Tsugumi and Takashi slowly lowered the researcher down into a chair. An LMRI, the same type that had been in Lemu's infirmary, was in the room. Hey, Yu, where's that high-pressure oxygen thing that Sora was talking about? How should I know? Tsugumi, what should we do? Well, we'll have to look for it. None of us know a thing about this place. Wait. The researcher coughed as he spoke. Hey, don't move, are you okay? I've been better, but at least I'm alive. The researcher raised his hand weakly as he spoke. Smell. Is this IBF? So I'm back where I started. So you were working here.
Yeah, それなら聞きたいことがある。高圧酸素治療装置ってのを探してるんだ。診療室まで来たのはいいが。
酸素治療。合金製のカプセルが円筒形の柱にくっついてる。そいつが。
しっかりしろ。
Yeah,
あと
the
はマニュアル。
了解した。ここをポッドに入れよう。そうね。マニュアルは
Just gotta get used to seeing wrong looking Takashi.
高圧酸素治療。これで。
OK。
よかった。
なんとか間に合ったな。
Thanks for the input, PP.
さあ、俺たちもここでのんびりしてる場合じゃないぞ。
Alright, they started searching around the facility. Their aim was threefold. To find a way to escape the facility, to see if any communication lines were open, and to look for any other survivors. While Takashi, Tsugumi, and the young Kaburaki were searching around IBF, Yu stayed with the resting Koko and researcher. Meanwhile, Takashi and the others soon arrived at a small room covered in iron plating. There were a few computer terminals there with nobody stationed at them. Operating at the terminals, they scanned through some of the information there. They were searching for any information that they could use, and finally came across something interesting. IBF Visitor Registry, Yagami Koko. Koko's name was listed in the corner of a business log. Looking further into the file, there seemed to be a personal memo written by somebody. Author? Yagami Takashi. I could see my daughter for the first time in a while. Her school is on vacation. So, she has a 10-day break. I've been trapped for so long in this tin can doing virus research that I'm jealous. That aside, when I told her that special permission had been granted for her to come down and see IBF, she sent me a happy reply saying she would. We've exchanged mail every once in a while, but I wonder how long it's been since we've actually seen each other. It'll just be happy if she hasn't forgotten what I look like. Which meant that Koko had visited IBF once before May 1st to meet her father. Postscript. Seems like TY's daughter is working part-time here at Limu. I'm still not sure if I should tell him or... After that point, All the data was corrupted, making it impossible to check what else had been written. In the end, they found nothing. No way out, no means to communicate, and no survivors. After searching around, Takashi, Kaburaki, and Sugumi all headed back to the examination room.
You, 状況は?
You, how are they doing?
今のところは大丈夫だよ。
Yeah, it looks like they're doing okay for now. You looked tired as she sat down and faced the pod's control panel. Her eyes were a bit red as if she'd been crying.
クラナリ、さっきここの端末で医療用データベースを確認したんだけど。
Oh yeah, Kuranari, I checked the medical database on this terminal earlier, but...
何か分かったのか?
Yeah, did you find something?
ティーフブラウイルスの治療法。決定的なものはまだ発見されていないみたい。
It looks as if they still haven't found any efficient way to treat the T-Flau virus.
対処療法として例のオレンジアンプルの注射で症状を一時的に緩和することはできるけど、
Although the symptoms can be temporarily treated by injecting that
あとは
orange
確率
serum.
の低い自然治癒を待つしか方法はないらしいの。
Otherwise, the only option is to hope for the small chance that it'll clear up by itself.
そうか。辛いな。
That sucks. Oh yeah, that's our last little bit of weirdness we have to contend with, is Pee-Pee suddenly being so good at finding these ampules, and then also being the one who goes and gets the terabyte disc at the end. Don't pin your electrical.
それってどういうこと?
What do you mean?
そうね。
Well, basically,
ココが治るには
if Coco is going to heal,
機能が頑張るしかない。
her immune system is going to have to work a little harder.
私たちは彼女をポットに入れて、あとは祈るしかない。
We've brought her to the treatment pod, so all we can do now is hope.
そういうことになる。
Yeah, that's all we can do.
そんな、
No.
ここは治らないの?
Coco isn't going to get better?
治らないとは言ってない。
Nobody said that.
ただ、治るかどうかは、ココ本人の生きる力にかけるしかないんだ。
Whether she gets better or not is up to Coco's will to live. Then Kaburaki walked over to the pod where Coco was sleeping.
Coco!
He started to cry, latching onto the pod as though he was embracing it.
あのポットがココをどれだけ助けてくれるかも
You
未知
still
数な
don't
の。
know how much this pod is going to help Coco. He murmured softly as she read the life signs on the life
高
monitor.
圧酸素治療の他にも
It seems that this pod can also do laser
簡単な手術の
disinfecting
できる機能
as
も
well as
備わ
simple
ってるらしい
surgery,
し、
in addition to the oxygen treatment.
使い方によってはハイバネーションすら可能のようだけど、
And of course, the real Chekhov's gun of the game. Even cryogenic suspension.
ハイバネーション
She's trying to escape. Cryogenic
なんだそ
suspension?
れは、You.
What's that, you? Oh, I completely forgot. He got his new appearance, but he's still the same absolute dipshit.
わからない。
I was so distracted by the hair color. I was like, oh, that's right. This guy doesn't have a brain cell.
結局
It was just in the
私
manual.
たちには何も分かってない。
We don't really know what's going to happen.
今は信じて待つしかないの。
All we can do is have faith and wait. Right then, a sharp alarm sounded from the control panel monitor. Shocked, the four of them all turned to face the screen at once. Oh, that guy's fucking dying. An agonized expression came over the face of the researcher. He thrashed and contorted inside of the cramped capsule.
おっさん!
The researcher coughed violently and clawed at his throat. His hand and the area around his mouth were stained red. The color quickly drained from his skin. His breathing became shallow and he groaned in a lone voice.
そんな、いきなり容体が変わるなんて。
No, I can't believe his condition would change like
それ以
this.
上喉を引っかくな。 破れちまうぞ。
Hey man, stop grabbing at your throat like that. You'll crush it. I think that would be the least of his problems. He slowly lowered the hands which he had been thrashing at his throat with.
おっさん、大丈夫か？
Oh, hey man, are you alright? This is as far as I make it. The researcher was barely breathing. He was trying to breathe. He let out a gasp, but wasn't able to bring in air.
これも報い。
This is my reward. You pored over the manual and desperately searched the control panel. The manual panel. But there was nothing she could do. There was no way for her to keep him alive. She pounded on the manual. Then she placed both elbows on the panel and covered her face with her hands. Ah! She burst into tears. Tsugumi and Kaburaki gazed at the monitor with strained expressions. The researcher's vital signs were getting weaker.
娘を
My daughter.
娘を頼むぞ。
Take care of my daughter. He looked as though he was smiling, and finally, he stopped breathing. The life readings from the capsule pod went blank, and an electronic alarm sounded for what seemed like forever. Takashi reached out his hand to the panel and turned off the alarm.
ここの容体は
How is Coco?
正常。
Normal. You replied in a voice filled with tears.
今のところは問題ないよ。
There doesn't seem to be anything wrong for the moment.
そうか、
Okay,
わかった。
thanks.
おっさん、後で丁重に葬ってやらないとな。
We'll have to make sure he gets a proper burial. It was an unsettling silence. In the belly of that iron hulk, they stopped breathing and stood still. Their expressions were lifeless. It was impossible to tell what any of them were thinking. The wide interior of the room was filled with a quiet calm. Time passed slowly, cruelly, crawling towards the second by second. Takashi and Yu leaned against the wall of the corridor.
逃げられない事情があったのよ。
I'm sure some kind of circumstances kept him from escaping, and circumstances that kept him alive. You finally spoke. Her small voice bounced off the cold iron walls of the partitioning.
事情？
Circumstances?
実は彼が亡くなる前、みんなが探索に出てる間に少しだけ話ができたの。
Before he died and everyone was off searching, I had the chance to talk with him some.
研究員さんは苦しそうだったし、私はちょっと気が咎めたんだけど。
I tried to get him to stop because he seemed like he was suffering, but
彼、話してる方が気分が楽だからって。だから。
he said talking made him feel better, so...
そうだったのか。で、どんな話を？
I see. What did he talk about?
あの研究員さんは EBF に来る前はレミューのシステム開発に関わっていたらしいの。
Before coming to IBF, he said they'd been involved with the project to develop Lemu's systems.
レミューの管理プログラムを作った開発スタッフのうちの一人だったって。
He was one of the staff who engineered Lemu's management
ってことは
software,
つまり
meaning that
ヒンメル、レミ、そしてソラ。
Himmel,
彼の
Lemmy,
手に
and
なるもの
Sora,
は
everything he left behind is here in Lemu.
プログラマーにとっては
Being a
レミュー
programmer,
のシステムは自分の子供のようなものなのよ。
the system here at Lemu was like his own child.
だとすると、自分の子供のことを案じて？
So, he was worried about his children?
きっとそうね。
Yeah, that must have been
レミュ
it.
ーの子供たちのことを思って彼は生き延びたのかもしれない。
Worrying about his children is what helped him live a while longer. And that's on being a workaholic. She closed her eyes and let out a small sigh. As if shrugging off the heaviness of the moment, she bolted away from the wall and
そう
said,
だ。 研究員さんから聞いて確認できたことがあるの。
No, yeah, there was one other thing I heard from him that I was able to check up
何
on.
のことだ？
空の居場所。
Sora's location.
空は、私たちの知っている空はインゼルヌルにいるわけじゃないの。
Sora is... The Sora that we know isn't in
Huh?
Insil Null.
浮島にレミの中音演算処理装置マスタースパコンがあるのは確かだけど、
We know that Lemmy's central processing unit, the main supercomputer, is on the
レ
floating
ミュー
island.
で起きた出来事のすべてはレミュー内の記憶装置に格納されることになってるみたい。
It seems that everything that happens in Lemu is saved in Lemu's memory storage.
ダイプリース製薬は赤長崎空のシステムプログラムのオリジナルを保有している。
Lieblich Pharmaceuticals keeps an original system program for Akanagasaki Sora. So, even if they lose the copy here at Lemu,
北区もかゆ
it
くも
won't hurt them at all.
極端な話をすれば空システム自体はいくつも複製を作ることができるってこと。
So, basically, it's possible to make many different versions of the
ここに
Sora
いる空
system.
もその複製のうちの一つなのかもしれない。
Even the Sora here might just be a
だけ
copy.
ど考えてみて、
But if you think about it,
空は空でしょ。
Sora is Sora, right?
私たちの知っている空はたった一人だけでしょ。
There's only one Sora we know, right?
じゃあ空と別の空を区別するものは何？
So, what's the only thing that separates the Sora we know from the other
それ
Soras?
は
記憶だよ。
Memory.
私たちとここにいる空が共有しているものはたった一つ。
The only thing that we and the Sora here share
記
is
憶だけなんだよ。
memory. That's it. Takashi tapped repeatedly on the area between his eyebrows and opened his mouth.
そうか。
Really? No, don't tell him that. That's what inspires him to drown with his AI girlfriend.
空の記憶がレミューの中だけにあるとするなら、
If Sora's memory is here at Lemu,
俺たちの知っている空は
then the Sora we know is...
空はヒンメルに。
Sora is in Himmel. She touched Takashi's shoulder lightly and traced her finger across his chest, then went back in the examination room. Left by himself, Takashi started wandering aimlessly down the corridor. He turned right at a corner, then left, and continued walking with his hand on the wall. He ended up in front of IBF's large pool. There was already someone there. As if she had drawn him there, Takashi went to stand by Sugumi.
あれ？
Takashi stopped suddenly. He turned around and stared at a spot on the wall.
たけし、どうしたの？
Takashi, what's wrong? Sugumi noticed Takashi. Following Takashi's gaze, she turned her eyes to stare over at the same spot on the wall. There was nothing there. Wait, no, that wasn't true. Both their lines of sight were pointed at me. Takashi and Sugumi were looking at me right then.
いや、なんかちょっと
I'm not really sure,
どこか
but
らか誰かに見られてるような気がしてさ。
it felt like somebody was staring at me. Takashi turned back and said that to Sugumi. Sugumi tilted her head quizzically. And with her head turned to the side, she narrowed her eyes and searched Takashi's
たけ
face.
し、あなた鼻血が
Your nose is bleeding.
鼻血が出てる。
You've got a nosebleed.
え？
Takashi quickly put his hand to his nose. His upper lip was wet with something.
ちょっと大丈夫？
Are you okay? Sugumi looked worriedly at Takashi's face.
大丈夫、大丈夫。
It's fine, it's fine. It's just the super Ebola. Takashi looked up and wiped under my nose as he replied.
エッチなことを考えてたわけじゃないぞ。断じてだ。絶対だ。
I wasn't thinking anything sexy. It's
別に
not.
私そんなこと
I don't
してな
care
い。
about that.
ならいいんだけどさ。
Well, all right then. His nose wouldn't stop
あ
bleeding.
なんか格好悪いな。
I look like a dork.
格好なんかどうでもいいじゃない。
Who cares what you look like?
ちっともよくねえよ。つぐみの
I
前で
care.
そんな
looking like this in front of you. Ugh. Takashi spat out blood. Copious amounts of fresh blood poured from his nose and mouth. Simultaneously, his knees buckled.
あれ、どうしたんだろう俺。
What's wrong with me? Takashi looked at his blood-covered hands and blinked. His legs swayed unsteadily, and the color quickly drained from his face.
なんだよ、これ。
What is this about? Blood is...
たけし、しっかりして。
いや、大丈夫。
No, I'm fine. Don't worry, Sugumi.
心配するな。
This is what being fine looks like.
全然大丈夫じゃない。
You're not fine at all.
血まみれじゃないのよ。
You're bleeding all over, Takashi.
診療室に行きましょう。すぐ見てもらった方がいいわ。
We need to get you to the examination room and get you looked at right away. Sugumi supported Takashi with her shoulder and pulled him along into the entrance of the corridor. From the entrance, a single shadow jumped out. It was Yubise Harukana. The kid. The kid's in bad shape. After that, using the LMRI, they found out Takashi Yu and the young Kaburaki were all infected with the teeth flow virus. Using the orange serum, the three of them were given shots. After that, their symptoms improved a bit, but the severity of their situation had still not changed.
ココはどうする?
What do we do about Coco? Takashi asked this as he pressed down on the disinfectant-stained gauze covering his injection.
まだ高圧酸素療法の最中よ。ポットを開けることはできないわ。
She's still undergoing the oxygen treatment, so we can't
治療は
open the
今のところ
pod.
順調。あそこに入っている限り、症状の急激な悪化はないと思うけど。
Looks like the treatment is progressing normally. As long as she's in there, I don't think her condition will get much
酸素
worse.
療法が終了次第、ココにもアンプルを与えましょう。
As soon as it's done, let's give Coco a shot too.
そうだな。
Yeah, okay. Takashi's face was still pale. It was hard to believe it had ever been the color of a living person. His pupils were cloudy, his eyelids swollen, his sweat flowed freely down his face. Wiping away that sweat, Takashi wandered around the
アンプル
room.
一つで何時間体調が持つかわからないが。
I'm not sure how long our condition will hold with just
ど
one
うだ
shot.
よ。効き目が切れるより先になんとかなりそうか。
Hey, you, do you think we can do anything after it stops working? You was sitting at the computer terminal, silently typing on the keyboard.
ユウ、様子はどうなってるのか教えてくれよ。
You, tell me what we can expect.
話しかけないでよ。気が散る。
Don't talk to me, I can't concentrate.
へいへい。
Alright.
まあ、とにかくやってみるから。
I'm trying my best.
誰かが通信ソフトにロックをかけて、ここから外に連絡できなくしてる。
Someone put a lock on the communications protocol and we can't make contact with the
でも、
surface.
時々外から混戦気味に通信データが入ってくるのを見つけたから。
But every once in a while I found some communication data that crosses through.
ロックを外せれば、あるいは、まともに通信できるようになるかもしれない。
If I can just release that lock, or well, anyway, we might just be able to get through
何
somehow.
の連絡の手立てもなかったレミューよりは、まだ希望があるよ。
At least it's better than Lemu, where we had no way of making contact.
頼むぞ、田中選手。
Alright, show me what you got, genius.
オッケー。
And, looking like the dead, they both smiled weakly at one another. Brownish bloodstains were smeared on their mouths. Takashi left you to go look at the monitor set into the column. The monitor displayed the status of the capsule pods.
ココの容体は？
How's Coco doing? Tsugumi came up behind Takashi and asked.
小康状態ってとこだな。
She's in serious but stable
そ
condition.
う。
According to the information on the monitor, Coco still had 4 more hours until she could come out. The pod was filled with high-pressure oxygen, and until the time was over, Coco couldn't leave.
ねえ、 ところで、たけし。
Hey, Takashi. Sugumi whispered to Takashi softly.
私がオレンジアンプルを打たないこと、疑問に思わないの？
Don't you think it's strange that I don't need any serum?
そういえば、そうだな。
Well, now that you mention it, yeah.
辛くないか？
Are you okay?
ええ。大丈夫。
Yeah, I'm fine.
大丈夫よ。
そっか。
Huh?
それ
Well,
ならよかった。
that's a relief.
ねえ。変だと思わないの？
But don't you think it's
私だけ
strange?
ティーフ・ブラウンの症状が何も現れていないのよ。
I'm the only one who doesn't show any symptoms of the Tiefblau virus.
おかしくない？
Isn't that odd?
うん。いや、
Well,
だってほら、
no, I mean... Takashi smiled softly and
お前
continued.
自分で言ってたじゃないか。
You said it yourself.
免疫機能並びに代謝効率は著しく向上し、テロメアは回復し続ける。
The functioning of your immune system and metabolic efficiency are remarkable, and your telomeres never stop
つまり、
regenerating. Meaning,
例のあれだろ？
it's, well, you know. She looked down slightly and puffed out her cheeks. She raised her eyes. Sugumi walked over to you and murmured,
ユウ、私をスキャンにかけて。
You, would you scan me?
私を調べて。
Would you check me? Cure virus P carrier. Those words appeared on the LMRI display without a sound. The screen showed that Sugumi was a Cure virus character. Tiefblau virus was also in Sugumi's body, as with the others, but her genetic makeup had been altered by Cure. And because of the peculiar functioning of her immune system, antibodies had been generated instantly, driving out Tiefblau. Cure. Sugumi had gone beyond the normal human capability. She had mentioned that she was special. Successful cases of genetic manipulation were probably exceedingly rare. Like the probably in there. Probably is doing a whole lot of work. Looking at the results from the LMRI scan, you nodded.
本当にキュレイウイルスは存在したのね。
The Cure virus really does exist.
知ってるのか？ユウ。
Do you know about it, you?
レミューのデータベースで見つけて。
I found it in Lemu's database.
それ以前に一度だけ聞いたことがあったの。
Before that, I'd heard about it once from a certain person.
森野茂蔵っていう人。
Someone called Morino
世
Shigezo.
界的に有名な遺伝子工学の博士なんだけど、
He's a world-renowned geneticist.
私が彼に会った時教わったの。
He told me about it when I met him.
この世界には少なくとも2つのキュレイがある。
In this world, there are probably at least 2 or more types
そ
of the
のうち
Cure
の一
virus.
つが。
So, this must be one of them.
そう。私、
Yes,
私は
me.
キュレイウイルスのキャリアなの。
I'm a carrier of the Cure
私は
virus.
すでに普通の人間ではなくなっているの。
I'm not like other people. Curious you should say that because I'm pregnant with my own clone. I don't think a single person here has something normal going on.
でも、
But,
つぐみ、どうして自分からそれを？
Sugumi, why would you...
たけしにはもう話したんだけど、ユウにも知ってほしかったから。
I already told Takashi, but I also want you to know
口で
you.
説明するより、機械で調べてもらった方が話が早いでしょ。
It's easier to have the machine show you than to explain it myself,
だ
right?
から急にスキャンしろなんて言ったの？
That's why you wanted me to scan
そう
you?
よ。
Yeah.
まあ、もっとも
Well, I don't suppose
分かったところで
anything
どうにもな
changes
らないんだけど。
now that you found out. Sugumi laughed at herself
つ
derisively.
ぐみ。
おかしいね、たけし。
It's strange, Takashi. Biting her lip, Sugumi is trying her best to laugh.
私の存在よりもっとおかしなことがある。
But there's something even stranger than me.
この機械でスキャンをかけたらすぐにキュレイウイルスのことが分かった。
This machine knew right away that I had the Cure virus. Why do you think?
十数件しか症例が報告されていないはずのキュレイのことがどうして簡単にわかるの？
There have only been a few documented cases of Cure in the whole world. Why do you think this computer could scan it so quickly? Takashi's pupils dilated momentarily. He squinted and replied
なる
softly.
ほど
Ah,
そういうことか
that's it.
ライプリヒ製薬はキュレイウイルスの存在をあらかじめ知っていたんだ
Lieblich Pharmaceuticals already knew about the existence of the Cure virus,
ティーフブラウと同じように
just like Tief Blau.
そういうこと。
Yep. Sugumi turned up to face the ceiling and closed her eyes,
だから
saying,
私はここに来た。
That's why I came here. To Lemu, to
いいね。
IVF.
来なくてはならなかったの。
I had to come here.
奴らに私の存在の重さを
I wanted them to know the true gravity of the seriousness of my existence, but
ようやくたどり着いたこの場所には
I've come all this
誰もい
way,
ない。
and nobody's here. So
バ
stupid.
カみたいだね。
I'm so stupid. From her closed eyes, a single tear fell. It suddenly became dark. From the darkness, I could only
ねえ
hear
たけ
voices.
し何もかも嫌になって
Have you ever
死
hated
にたいって
everything
思ったことある？
and thought that you wanted to die?
ない
No. Where was this, I wondered. Was I inside someone? I couldn't see anything. All I could hear were voices from somewhere. Passionate voices. An
俺
agonizing
たちは死なな
scream.
い必ず生きて帰る
We aren't going to die. We're gonna make it out of here.
今こんなところでくたばるわけにはいかないんだ
We don't have any time to
こ
waste
の暗
here.
闇から抜け出してみせる救い出してみせる
I'm gonna get out of this hell. I can save you. I'll prove
全員
it.
だここにいる全員みんなを守り抜いてみせる
Everyone. I'm going to save everyone who's
絶対
here.
に一人たりとも俺は死なせはしない
I won't let a single one die. The voice cut out suddenly and the darkness cleared like a fog. My vision returned gradually. The scene spread out gradually before me. But I had still lost my center. Other than a sense of impending disaster and the stagnant heavy air around me, I could feel nothing else. Look. Stare intently. Why do you even bother looking was a doubt that crept through my mind, but it faded quickly. All I could do was watch the events in the world as they passed by. I watched. I was an existence that could only watch. A perspective was all I was.
最後の手段を取るしかない
It's time for desperate measures. Takashi said that suddenly. His eyes shone with a dull light. It seemed that the serum was losing its effect. Although Takashi Yu and the young Kaburaki seemed to be maintaining their composure, their breathing was
俺はもちろん
ragged.
医者じゃないから詳しいことはわからないが
Well, I'm not a doctor, so I can't really tell,
天然
but
痘ペニシリンヘビ抗毒素
smallpox, penicillin, snake
頭の
antivenom.
いいお前ならそこまで言えばわかるはずだろ
You're pretty smart, so this should make sense to you, right? No way.
そういうことだ
It's our only chance.
お前の体の中にティーフブラウウイルスの抗体ができてるんなら
Your body is
So-
creating antibodies to the Tiefblau virus, so we'll use
そ
that.
の抗体をもらえば俺たちのティーフブラウも根絶できる可能性が出てくるからだ
If we can get those antibodies, there's a small chance we can fight off
馬
Tiefblau.
鹿げてる。
It's too dangerous.
そんなに簡単じゃないのよ。抗生物質やワクチンを生成するのは
You have any idea how hard it is to make antibodies and vaccines that work?
浅はかにも程があるわ。
There's almost no
部
chance.
活にそんなことをしてみんなが死んでしまったらどうするのよ。
If you make even the slightest mistake, it could kill all
こ
of
のまま
you.
でもいずれみんな死んじまうんだよ
If we don't do anything, we're dead anyway. Sugumi's expression froze. Yu and Kaburaki, who'd been staring at the ground the whole time, raised their heads and looked at
そ
Takashi.
うだ何もしなくても死んじま
That's right. If we don't do anything, we're dead.
うだとすれば
If that's the case,
俺たちは わずかでも生き延びられる可能性にかけるしかない。
It's better that we take this risk, no matter how small our chance of survival. Fresh blood flew from Takashi's mouth. The crimson mist danced in the air and floated away.
またか。
Damn. Not again.
つくづくかっこ悪いな。
I can't believe how lame this is. Takashi hurriedly wiped his mouth.
どうした？みっともなく口から血を流す俺を笑わないのか、つぐみ。
What? You aren't gonna laugh at me for being such a jork, Sugumi?
なあ、笑
Come
ってくれ
on.
つぐみ。
Laugh, Sugumi? Takashi held out his blood-covered hand towards Sugumi. Stop it.
近寄らないで。
Stay away from me. Stop. I
言えよ。
don't want
私は
to. Shaking her head fiercely, Sugumi backed away.
クラナリ。聞いてクラナリ。つぐみも。
You opened her mouth to talk from where she was seated at the
この診
terminal.
療室の奥に簡単なラボがあるの。
There's a simple lab in the back of the examination
遠
room.
心分離器のついたアンプル生成用のマシンも備えられている。
I saw a centrifuge and a machine for refining serum.
あれなら素早く正確にティーフブラウ抗体を抽出できるかもしれない。
We could probably use that to safely and quickly extract the Tiefblau
ティーフ
antibodies.
ブラウを
This
スキャン
thing
で
can
見つけら
scan
れ
for
るんだから
Tiefblau. They can probably
きっと
scan
抗
for the
体もスキャンで
antibodies
見
and
つけ出し
extract
て
them.
抽出できるはずよ。
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm curious if we actually can skip what's like the same again. We can. After waiting for Sugumi to compose herself, they carried out the procedure. Drawing blood from Sugumi's arm, they extracted the antibodies and gave shots to Takashi Yu and Kaburaki. They weren't able to give Coco a shot because she was still in the pod undergoing treatment. And it would still be a while before she could leave. They made another dose of antibodies for when Coco was ready and put it in the equipment storage container on the desk. Almost an hour had passed since the shot. The antibodies didn't seem to be having any effect. The 3 infected people were lying, worn out on their beds. Sugumi said something briefly to Takashi and went back to Lemu. I'm going to go get Charmy and bring him back, were the words she left him with. Takashi nodded weakly and left his eyes. Suddenly, in this barely conscious state, a noise from the speaker reached Takashi's ears. Come in! IBF-3, please respond. This is the emergency rescue team from the Maritime Defense Force. Takashi rushed over to the terminal.
もしもし、こちら EBF 診療室。
This is the
どうぞ。
IBF infirmary. Over.
第3 EBF か。こちらインゼルヌル管制室。海上保安庁特急隊本部。
IBF-3. I repeat, this is the Maritime Defense Force Rescue Emergency Team, calling from the control center at Insel Null.
こちらの通信が聞こえ
Can
る
you
か。
hear me?
ああ、聞こえる。
Yeah,
聞こ
we
える
can
よ。
hear you. We hear you
やかましい
loud
く
and
らいだ。
clear. Voices spilled in from the other end of the line. Hey, there are survivors down there. I can't believe it. That's
これから第
amazing.
9救難隊を向かわせる。第3 EBF のプールは使用可能か。
We're sending a rescue team immediately. Can you access the pool in IBF-3?
ああ、大丈夫なはずだ。
Yeah, it should be fine.
要救助者の場所と数はわかるか。
Do you know how many survivors are there, and where are they located?
診療室に5名。いや、6名。
In the examination room, there are 5. No, 6.
6名だな。了解した。
6, I copy.
民間サルベージ機関の深海潜水艇に。こち
The
らの
rescue
救
team
難
is
隊員
headed there in a private sector salvage vessel.
指示に従って脱出してくれ。
When it arrives, I want you to follow its directions and get out of
到
there.
着はいつだ？
How long till they get
で
here?
きるだけ急がせるが、約1時間後になる。
They're going as fast as they can, but it'll take about an hour.
だが、万一の際には、
However, if something goes wrong,
研究所内に残されている深海探査用
there
の
should be a
潜水艇
small
がある。
deep exploration submarine left in the research
そこに避難
facility.
するよ。
I hate to make you do this, but I want you to escape that area.
万一ってどういうことだ？
Something goes wrong? What do you
レ
mean?
ミューの核兵器強度はすでに限界を超えている。
Lemu's partition strength threshold is already
もし
being
も一部分
exceeded.
が悪化するような
One
ことにで
section
もなれば、
implodes,
どこかのエ
there's
リ
a
アが
risk that
崩
another
落
area
し
could collapse and
沈没
start
する危険がある。
sinking. Okay, so this is just Sugumi's ending, so we can. There was a life reading in the infirmary. The map showed that the surrounding corridors were flooded and there was no way to access the area. Arriving at Spider's stock, he threw himself into the water. In order to reach the corridor connecting to the infirmary, Takashi dove. At that point, there was no way to access it without swimming. Takashi turned the PDA's backlight on. It shined a weak light on the area before him. He realized that there wasn't any point, but Takashi turned off the light and kept swimming in total darkness. He swam and kept swimming. Takashi propelled himself forward as though possessed. There was no sign of fear or unease in the way that he moved. He fiercely tore at the wall of water surrounding him, progressing steadily forward. He was being reckless, perhaps even acting insane, but he was willing to sacrifice it all for what he'd convinced he had to do. And neither the water nor the intense pressure could defeat the power of his faith and the courage of that conviction. He kept swimming on and on, strongly, purposefully, heading for the light. Takashi sucked in air greedily as he brought his head out of the water. Ignoring his burning lungs, he quickly climbed into the open door of the elevator shaft and began scrambling towards the infirmary.
Tsugumi! Tsugumi!
She was in the corner of the room, hugging her knees to herself. At her feet was a slightly wet, furry figure of Charmy. Takashi, why? Tsugumi's eyes widened.
何驚いてんだよ、つぐみ。
Now, what are you so surprised about, Tsugumi?
ただいまだよ、ただいま。
I came back to pick
た
you
だいま
up.
お迎えに上がりました。
I came back for you.
まあ、ちょっと遅くなっちまったけど。
Well, I guess I'm a bit late, but... Well, let's just proceed down the Tsugumi ending a little. Having rescued Tsugumi from the infirmary, Takashi made it safely back to Himmel. Sora was waiting for them back in the room. I've prepared the chamber for you. Get inside, quickly!
まあまあ、慌てるなよ、そら。
Hey, what's the rush, Sora? Although Takashi was out of breath, he waved the flustered Sora off with his hands. Come on, you have to hurry!
落ち着けって。忘れ物がもう一つ残ってるんだから。
Relax. I still have one more thing I've forgotten. Forgotten? What?
これだよ。
This. Takashi pointed to Himmel's console. There were letters written on the monitor. Willkommen Lemmy Login, TY. LMRSDS 4913A, Kanegasaki Sora. Attenkopie wird Verwohlenstanget. Suddenly, there was an intense flash of light. In the blinding flood of light, a voice could be heard. I was able to finish the transfer just in time. The last name and password, TY. Tanaka Yoichi. Where was this? I wondered. Was I inside someone? I couldn't see anything. All I could hear was a voice coming from somewhere. A warm voice. A murmuring filled with peace. It was in Himmel, along with Sora's memory. It's on that terabyte disk. Thank you, Dad. The voice cut out suddenly. The light faded. Color gradually returned to Takashi's field of vision. And when color had finally returned, Takashi opened his mouth.
あー、ポチッとな。
Letting out a strange shout, Takashi pounded the enter key on the console. A round flat wafer shot out of the disk drive. It was a single terabyte disk made of polycarbonate.
それじゃ、こいつはいただいていくから。
Okay, I'm taking this with me. Had Takashi been able to hear Yu's voice? He stuffed the disc in his pocket. Yeah. Taking a side glance at the dumbfounded Sora, Takashi went along with Tsugumi to the other side of the glass. Inside the compression chamber for IBF. Slouching back in a chair, Tsugumi struggled to catch her breath. Takashi breathed deeply and looked out the window to the control room on the other side. The door to the chamber sealed and compression started.
しばしのお別れかな。
Guess this means goodbye for a while. Sora was standing still on the other side of the chamber. Smiling softly, Sora shook her head left to right. No, this isn't goodbye. I don't say goodbye.
あ
Yeah?
あ、俺も言わないよ。
Me neither. Takashi returned her smile. I do not exist. And yet, I exist everywhere. There will be a time when we meet again, I'm sure of it. So please,
今は何も聞かないでください。
please don't ask me anything now.
俺にも分かってきた。
I understand. Now.
分からないけど分かってきたんだ。
I don't know how, but I understand now.
空がここにしかいなくて、でもどこにでもいるってことだ。
That the only place to find you is here, yet I can find you anywhere.
あとそれから
Oh, and
ボタンを叩く時の掛け声はポチ
when you
ッ
hit
と
a
な。
button, don't forget to say click. Remember that.
大丈夫。ちゃんと覚えます。
Don't worry, I'll remember.
それが約束だから。私と先生の。
That's a promise. Mine and yours,
あ
Professor.
りがとう。
No, we don't need to bring back the Professor Takeshi moment. No callbacks to that. That didn't happen. Ugh. Right? Your baby mama is in the compression chamber. And you're like, oh yeah, we did this, like, kinky student-teacher thing for a while over in the gift shop. Sora's image changed to a rainbow hue. And then, even the rainbow started to fade. Sora's form disappeared. Takashi watched it all happen and nodded, as though he had confirmed something. She really was a hologram! Huh! Compression complete. Takashi and Sugumi loaded into the elevator and headed back to the research facility. It's quiet.
あ、そうだな。
Yeah, you're right. The flooding should have been fairly advanced in the area above them. It was hard to know if any of the sections had collapsed yet. But, for the moment, everything was normal at IBF. On the surface of the pool, there wasn't even a ripple.
あ、
どうしたの？
時間。
The time.
予定時刻を過ぎてる
We're
な。
past the scheduled time.
予定？
What schedule?
実は救助がこっちに向かってきてたんだ。
Actually, there's a rescue team on their way.
救助？
海上保安庁の特殊救難隊とか言ってたかな。
Yeah, they called themselves the Maritime Defense Force, I
ユウ
think.
が通信回線を開いてくれたんで、インゼルヌルと連絡が取れたんだ。
You was able to open up a communication line in Still Null. We're just proceeding like the Sugumi ending again? Yeah. Sugumi ran over to Takashi and struggled to hold him up. She shook him by the shoulders, but Takashi would not wake up. He was breathing, and his heartbeat seemed normal. Though he felt slightly hot, it didn't seem like his life was in danger. Sugumi carried Takashi over to his bed, and, placing her hand on his chest, she closed her eyes. The light sound of their breathing gradually took on the same timing and softly filled the room. They fell into a deep sleep. At the same time, I suddenly woke up. Lemu's infirmary. I'd been sprawled out, sleeping on the bed. Getting up, I looked around. Nobody was there. I felt the pain in my left hand. I looked at my palm. There was a large bandage on the edge of it. I was right, I injured my hand in the cosmic whale room, and then I lost my memory again, and was probably brought to that room. Where is everyone? I slowly got off the bed and slipped on my shoes. Some shit was going down already. The sound of metal screeching and rubbing together came from somewhere in the immediate vicinity. Another sound came to my ears. I could tell it was an alarm ringing somewhere far off. But, strangely, I didn't feel any fear. I must not have been completely awake. The inside of my head was still dim, and it was hard to grasp the situation completely. Just then, the door to the infirmary opened. You jumped into the room as though she were possessed by a
脱
demon.
出口が見つかったの。
I found an exit we can escape through. You was screaming. I found an exit. I said those words to myself over and over. It took me a few seconds to grasp the enormity of those words. Where did you find it? My mind was still not fully up and
説明
running.
あと。とにかく早くこっちに。
I'll explain later. Just hurry. Saying that, you ran out of the infirmary. Still, it took a few more seconds for my legs to get moving. Okay, good. I was like, oh man, surely we can do a little skippy so we don't have to listen to so much siren. Just a little more. We're almost there. Kaburaki screamed at us from up above. I briefly saw the backs of Sarah and Sugumi who were running up ahead. The meaning of Kaburaki's words, just a little more, hit me. Just a little more and we can escape from here. From the bottom of that deep ocean, From out of that cage we were trapped in. We're finally getting out. We're going to be free. And along with that hope, an indistinct fear was still inside of me. A heavy, dark sensation wriggled at the corner of my body. It was rotten, filthy. It had stuck to the walls of my heart, stagnant and putrid. It doesn't matter. Even if you get out of here, nothing will have been solved. As the doubts went through my mind, my legs faltered. 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps. I carried forward and the doubts swelled up, replacing my elation at rescue. You think you're really going to be let out of here? As that thought filled my mind, I'd already arrived at the last step in front of the door. Nobody said a word. We wiped our sweat and struggled for breath as we glared at the huge door which rose before us. All right, let's go. I put my hand on the door's lever. Clink. The door unlocked. Bracing my chest and shoulder against the door, I threw all my weight into opening it. Outside of the door, the sight that greeted us was a sky filled with stars. Covering the dark blue sky was an infinite number of shimmering stars. Beyond time and space, the light poured down gently on our heads from above. You, Sora, Tsugumi, Kaburaki, and I had lost all words. We could only stare at the sky above. If I raised my hand, it seemed I could touch the sky. But not there, because it was a real night sky. In that way, the drama of our escape ended. Or at least so it seemed, but I realized nothing had been solved. The slimy sense of unease still gnawed inside of me, and that indistinct notion had changed to a simmering sense of impatience, one that was ready to boil. That's right, it isn't finished. I'm not going to let it end here, because I don't know the reasons behind any of this. The time was 11:43 p.m. A new day was just waiting to begin. Dawn. I was in the middle of a white darkness. Before I knew it, I had become lost in another world. I didn't even have time to wonder where I was before I found the answer. The year was 2017. I could see it. Everything. I already knew what had happened at that time.
Takeshi, 起きてよ。
Takashi, get up.
タクシーが着いたわ。
Taxi's here. Oh, okay. Takashi jumped out of bed and stood up. He stretched his arms and loosened his shoulders. Takashi and Tsugumi were still stuck in the examination room of the research facility.
チャミ、おいで。
Charmy, come here.
ほら、そろそろ行くよ。
We gotta get going now. Tsugumi scooped up Charmy, who'd been running around on the floor, and held him to her chest. Huh? Bending over, Tsugumi let out a cry of
どうし
alarm.
たつぐみ
What's wrong,
たけ
Tsugumi?
し、ベッドの下。
Takashi, under the bed.
ベッドの下
Under the bed? Mine? He looked under the bed he'd been sleeping on. Something was lying there. Reaching out, he pulled whatever it was closer to him.
あれ
ピピ。
おいピピどうしたなんでここにいるんだ
Peepee, what's going on? What are you doing here? Takashi picked Peepee up in both hands and shook him lightly. There was no response. All of the color had vanished from his eyes. He didn't move at all. Peepee was frozen as if he was dead. Suddenly, a faded fragment of a memory appeared in the back of my mind. Although it had been weathered and tinged by the flow of time, it was a scene that I was positive I knew. It was a scrap of conversation between Sarah and Yubisei
そ
Akikana.
っか、あのコニーがね。今の電子犬って本物そっくりだから、機械ってことを意識しないで飼えるのかな。
But really, that Connie, I tell you, that robot dog looks so much like the real thing that I'll bet he's treating it like a
そう
normal
いえば、
pet.
先輩の家にもいましたよね、電子犬。
Hey, didn't you have a robotic dog at your
いる
house?
よ。本当はお母さんが飼ってるんだけどね。
Yep, sure do. Actually, it's my
随
mom's.
分古いタイプらしいんだけど、壊れることもなく元気にしてるよ。
I think it's one of those really old types, but just keeps ticking along happily. It never breaks. They were talking about Peepee. That would mean Peepee was a robot, an electronic dog. There wasn't any proof, but looking at Peepee's motionless body, it was obvious it wasn't the dead body of an animal. Like a wind-up toy that had stopped moving, Peepee's limbs had frozen in an unnatural position. Takashi and Sugumi both observed Pee-Pee, who had become nothing more than a broken toy. Takashi opened its mouth slightly. It seemed like he was about to say something. Suddenly, with a roaring sound, the whole room shook violently. Takashi's body flipped like a small twig and flew into the wall. Sugumi tumbled and danced through the air to fall on the floor with a thud.
なんだ今のアナウンス
What did that announcement just say? Holding Pee-Pee under his arm, Takashi looked up at the ceiling. Sugumi quickly got up.
5分前
We've got 5 minutes until this place
5分
implodes.
前だと
5 minutes?
マジかよ
Ugh, give me a break.
なんで5分前になってから言うかな
Why did they gotta tell us when there's only 5 minutes
もっと
left?
早く教えろよな
Give us some more warning for crying out loud.
とにかく5分前なの
Anyway, we've only got 5 minutes. Sugumi shrugged her shoulders exaggeratedly and stared at
素直に
Takashi.
現実を受け入れなさいよ寛容な私を見習ってね
Got to accept reality. You could learn something from me, you know.
よく言ったつぐみ
Listen to yourself,
この
Sugumi.
状況で冗談言える余裕が出てきたじゃないか
Telling
俺
jokes
流
at a
に
time like this is more my style, don't you think? Alright. I continued to observe. I accepted the world as it was, understood it, and input it. I had no feelings. Feelings seemed to me to be something people gave out in response to the world, as a way of igniting change in their surroundings. But there, at that time, I had no physical body. I had no hands, feet, no voice, no lungs, no organs for generating heat. In other words, I had no way of interacting with the world. Therefore, I think we are finally reaching the end. Therefore, if I were to have had emotions, there was nothing I could do with them. The only thing I could do was watch. Furthermore, the act of watching was different to what could normally be associated with sight. That type of vision went far beyond feelings or thoughts. It was completely isolated, completely removed. The passage of time had condensed down to one moment, and that had exploded in front of me. I'd seen everything in one instant. One instant. Standing still in a world where time had stopped, I saw everything.
およかったよかった
Oh, at least something's
無
going
事に
right.
到着して待ってるじゃないかタクシ
The
ー
taxi's even waiting for us. Well, of
タク
course.
シーなんだから
It's a taxi.
勝手にお客をすっぽかしたりしないのよ
They aren't just gonna leave us high-tipping customers here. In front of them, the small submarine bobbed gently in the waves. 3 minutes to explosion! Takashi and Sugumi hurriedly scrambled to the sub and jumped down the hatch. Sugumi slid over to the driver's side of the cockpit, checked to see if the gauges were in order, and flipped some switches. The hatch overhead closed automatically. We drew her hand way too tiny in this picture. Sugumi took the controls. The mini-sub made bubbling sounds and sank quickly into the water. As soon as they passed under the bottom of IBF, the ocean current pushed on the heavy hull of their vessel. Takashi looked out into the ocean from a small window attached to the wall. Lemu was breaking apart. The frame started to warp and fold on itself like crumpled old newspaper. Partitions cracked into small pieces and were fluttered into the water as if they were petals falling from a flower. Letting out its final breath, Lemu spewed out fine air bubbles into the sea, which flowed gently in the current. From the twisted wreckage, black smoke rose in the water. The pieces of iron drifting in the ocean, glittering from the sunlight coming above. At the edge of his rapidly clearing vision of view, the sinking shadow of the brutal wreckage could be seen. Paradise sank into deep blue darkness, raising a spine-chilling death cry.
これからどうするの
What do we do from here? Sugumi asked in a quiet voice. Small egg-shaped vessel holding up the two of them headed silently towards the
やりたいこ
surface.
とは山ほどある
There's so much I want to
まあ
do.
ひとまず
But
どこ
first,
から手をつけるか考えてるところさ
I'm thinking more about where to start. Takashi spoke as he placed the motionless Pee-Pee onto the seat next to him.
そういうつぐみはどうするんだ
What about you, Sugumi? What do you want to do?
くだらない質問だったかな
What? You don't like the question?
うんそんなことないわ
That's not true.
私もゆっくり考えてみてもいい
Can I have a minute to think
Dozo.
about it? Sure. Takashi smiled, but that smile would soon fade. A heavy ringing filled the submarine.
今の音、何？
What was that sound? Tsugumi looked at Takashi worriedly.
さあね。
I dunno. The operating console made a funny
何
sound.
の音？
What's that noise?
わからん。
No
お
clue.
い、そっちの画面になんか出てるぞ。
Hey, something just came up on that screen over there. The monitor behind Tsugumi started blinking.
なんて書いてあるの？
What does it
そっ
say?
ちの方が近いんだから、振り向いて自分で見ろよ。
You're closer than I am. Why don't you turn around and look at it yourself?
嫌よ。
No,
見たくない。
I don't want to see it.
嫌な感じがするから。
I've got a bad feeling
わが
about
まま言
this.
うなよな、お前。
Don't be so selfish. Are we just proceeding still with oops, no ballast? Alright, we're proceeding with oops, no ballast. Close the hatch. Off she goes in her washing machine. We're drowning again because we only got one choice in this world when we're Takashi. Back in the world of 2034. When I returned to consciousness, I was crying. Feelings overcame me in torrents, rushing through me hotly. Dad is dead. The weight of my sadness pressed down on me, and the sense of futility tore a hole in my heart. But it was no time to be overcome by sadness. Wiping the wetness from my cheeks, I looked at my surroundings. A new day was breaking, just as it had been in 2017. Through my tears, the blue sky and ocean came into my vision. Yeah, it's either mysterious super virus or drowning. You only get one of the two. It seemed that I was above the floating island. I could analyze the situation calmly, but the tears wouldn't stop. I wiped them away with the palm of my hand and licked the large drops as they rolled past my mouth. Squeezing my eyes shut tightly, I took in deep breaths to calm down. I trembled slightly as I let out a sigh and looked at my surroundings again. It was definitely above the floating island. The wind was blowing lightly, and the green trees were swaying gently. The morning sun was letting out golden rays onto the surface of the ocean. It had been a while since I had been outdoors. The wide blue sky, the smell of the warm, humid breeze. As beautiful as it seemed, it didn't help me one bit. Rather, the richness of it all made me feel even more alienated. I'm all alone. I'm so terribly sad. I wiped away the tears which continued to flow and tried hard to suppress my urge to cry out. I had to think. There was no time to be crying. I shook my head repeatedly and tried with all my strength to collect my atrophied thoughts. Think. 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 First, I needed to grasp the situation I was in. I followed the threads of my memory. I remembered having gotten safely out of Lemu, but had no memories after that. I had no idea what happened after that. I couldn't imagine I'd been standing outside all night. Huh? I suddenly realized that nobody else was there. As I began to walk on grass, I looked wildly in all directions. Soon, I became aware of one solitary figure, Kaburaki. He had his back to a tree trunk and was staring out at the vast ocean. I ran over and screamed at him. Why would you do something like this? Answer me. I know everything now. Kaburaki was silent. He wouldn't even look at me. It was obvious that he was the closest person to being responsible for everything happening here. Uranare Takashi, my father's name. He'd used that name to deceive us the whole time. I drew even closer. Say something! Don't just stand there! I said say something. I grabbed onto his shirt.
悪いが、俺の口からは何も言えないんだ。
Sorry, but I can't tell you anything. Kaburaki's eyes were wet. He seemed to be thinking deeply about something as he gazed at me.
だが、一つだけ教えてやろう。
But I'll tell you this.
これで終わったと思うなよ。
This isn't over, okay?
すべてはこれから。
It all starts from here.
そう。これから始まるんだからな。
Yep. All of it starts from right now. I relaxed my grip. Kaburaki didn't say anything more and walked away, gazing in the direction of the distant horizon. I stood there, vacantly staring at his back while it became smaller and smaller. Someone tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and Sora was standing right in front of me.
お待ちしておりました。
We've been waiting for you. What are you doing here? The thought didn't reach my lips. There clearly was no RSD on the floating island, but she had just tapped me on the shoulder. I couldn't process the information and stood there, gaping in confusion. I reached out to touch Sora's arm absent-mindedly. Her skin was smooth, its texture slightly elastic and warm to the touch. Please, come this way. Sora grinned. There was Sora, smiling as always. I felt saved by her smile. I was led by Sora into the forest. The small, stone-covered path was overgrown in a deep thicket. The tips of the trees stretched up high, almost entangling one another. Hardly any light squeezed through. There was no breeze there either. The air was wet, and everything felt heavy and stagnant. The small stone path snaked around randomly, and I soon lost all sense of direction as I continued walking. I moved forward along that passage with no exit. For some reason, I didn't say a word to Sora, whose back was in front of me. I walked up beside her and interlaced my fingers in hers. I didn't know why I did that. Was I just curious, or had I wanted a sense of security? Sora looked over to me and smiled. Maybe the reason I grabbed onto her was just because I wanted to see her smile at me. Not long afterward, we finally emerged from the forest. My field of view widened, and beyond spread out an area of lush green grass and the rich blue ocean. My line of sight was drawn to the back of someone very familiar to me. Yu was standing right in the center of the open space. She was standing with her back to me. And someone else. A woman who looked just like her. They were facing each other and standing still. I braced against the rising tide of emotion within me and went to stand over by them. I flashed a look back. Sora was standing at the entrance to the forest and didn't appear to be coming closer. In the center of that area were you, the lady, and me. The other lady. Of course I knew her name. Tanaka Yubise Harukana. She had been infected with the Cure virus, and although she seemed young, she didn't look quite 17. It was probably since her cells had divided for 5 years, which had caused her to age slightly. In other words, her body was that of a 23-year-old, but she was actually 35. I looked over at Yubise Akikana, standing next to me. She had her hand curled into a fist and was glaring at her mother. She was so furious that she was shaking. I realized that the person who had been manipulating everything behind the scenes had been the person standing in front of me, Yubise Harukana, Yu's mother. She'd been up there, safe and sound on the island, relaxing, looking down at our plight and probably laughing the whole time. I glared over at her, along with Yu. She appeared indifferent to our stares and said nonchalantly, "Do you have any questions?" I laughed without thinking. What the hell kind of thing was that to say? Why? Why would you do something like this? In order to call forth Blickwinkle. What the hell is Blickwinkle? You already know that, don't you? Blickwinkle is you. Me? I'm Blickwinkle? I'm not talking to Hokuto. I'm talking to the perspective on the other side of Hokuto. Perspective? The third eye. Blickwinkle. The you on the other side of Hokuto. Is it the fourth wall? Or is it the fourth dimension?
Yes! You're a Blickwinkle, bitch!
See, this is why I had to finish it today. I could not reach any climax this game possibly had waiting in the wings without my wife here to directly gloat for it. It is you who I am talking about.
少年とはあなた自身のことだったの。
From the beginning, you've been the kid.
あなたが北斗の視点と重
When you
なった
overlapped
時
with Hokuto, he
北斗は
lost his
記憶を
memory
失い
and
あなたに
became you.
だから北斗が記憶喪失になったのは当然のことなの。
And so it makes sense that he had
あなたに
amnesia.
はこの世界で過ごした経験がない。
You had never lived in this world
あなた
before.
にはこの世界の中での歴史がない。
You have no history
記憶
here,
がない
no memories of this
あなたは
place.
2034年5月1日15時17分
On May 1st, 2034 at 3:17 p.m., you uttered your first words in this world, kid.
あなたは私たちの世界の住人ではない。
You aren't from
もう
this
一次
world.
元高い世界から私たちの世界を見下ろしている。
You are looking down at this world from one dimension higher than
だから
this.
あなたには過去や未来のことがわかる。
That's why you can see the future and the
う
past.
ん、それだけじゃない。
Well, that's not all.
異なった別の歴史の流れさえあなたには手に取るようにわかるはず。
You can probably also see other time continua.
少年に予知のようなことができたのはあなたがこの世界のすべてを知っていたから。
The reason the kid could see the future is that you know all there is to know
北
about
斗
this
という名
world.
前を自分の名前だと思えなかったのも当然のこと。
It only makes sense that you didn't respond to the name
だっ
Hokuto.
て
I
あ
mean,
なたの本当の名前
your
は
real name isn't
北
Hokuto,
斗
is
では
it?
ないでしょ。
I'm...
怖がらなくてもいいの。
You don't have to
自
be
分に
afraid.
嘘をつく必要はないのよ。
You don't have to lie to yourself. Won't you
本
show
当のあ
me
なたを見せ
your
て
true self?
答えて。
Answer
正
me.
直に
Truthfully,
あなたは北斗という名前の少年では
you aren't really a kid named Hokuto, are you? The whole game explodes into Kanito Pet now. Game starts doxing you. Who am I? Who are you? I'm Hokuto. Who are you? Who am I? You are Hokuto. Yes, I remember. I am me. I've watched your world for so long. Watching. I am but a perspective. An eye that transcends dimensional boundaries. I am the third eye. I am. I am. For so long. I am Blickwinkle. Oh, that's me. Who knew my name could get more German? I am. I remember now. I'm not from your world, am I? I'm not Hokuto, am I?
久しぶりね。
It sure has been a long time. A long time?
いえ、なんでもないわ。
Don't worry about it.
ありがとう。姿を見せてくれて。
Thank you for showing yourself. I mean, technically, she's the only one we never saw a bad ending with. So, you know, she's got nothing to hold against us. Why did you have to
それ
do
は
this?
もう教えたでしょ。
I already told
あ
you.
なたを発言させるためよ。
In order to,
召
well,
喚って言ってもいいけど
I。suppose you could call it a summoning. Is it a dark ocean summoning? This is the really weird part of the Alan Wake cinematic universe. This is the part where he decided to write a visual novel. In order to reach me, did you really have to do something so reckless and dangerous? Yes,
さっきも説明した通り、
just as I explained
あな
earlier,
たはもう一次元高い世界から
you have been looking down on our world from your dimension, right?
仮に二次元世界に知性を持った存在がいたとしましょう。
Let's say there was a conscious being from the
そ
second
の二次
dimension.
元存在が三次元存在とコンタクトを取るにはどうすればいいと思う？
What do you think the second dimensional being would have to do in order to make contact with the third
例えば
dimension?
XY 平面上に二次元的な存在の点 ABC があり XYZ 空間の中に三次元的な存在の 点 D があったとする。
In the XYZ space, you have a three-dimensional being, point D.
ABC は XY 平面の上しか移動することはできない。
Points A, B, C, and D can only move on an XY axis.
点 D を取り込むためには
Yeah, I know. We
どうすればいい？
gotta. If we don't get our geometry lecture, are we even playing Ever17? So, how can they draw point D to them?
点 AB を通る直線上に点 C を移動すればいいの。
You have point C move on the same line as points A and B.
すると点 ABC は同一直線上に並ぶから、この直線と点 D を通る平面が生まれることになる。
I mean, if you want to simplify it and piss off some mathematicians at the same time, calculus is really just algebra plus, and trigonometry is really just geometry plus.
つまり点 D はこの時点 ABC と同じ平面内に存在することになるの。
Meaning point D becomes part of the same plane as points A, B, and C. That's definitely not true.
ここで点 D はあたかも自分自身が点 ABC と同じ世界にいるかのような錯覚を覚える。
When that happens, point D has the illusion that it's in the same world as ABC for the
私
first
たちがや
time.
ったのは
That's what we
これ
did.
と同じ2034年の世界を2017年であるかのごとく見せかけることによって
In creating a world where you couldn't tell if it was 2034 or 2017,
すなわ
point
ち
D.
4次元内の視点ブリック・ヴィンケルに私
In
たち
other
のいる
words,
空間と
you were able to
同一空
create
間
the
にいるか
illusion
の
that
ご
the
とく
fourth dimensional
錯覚を
being,
起こさせ
the
たってわけ。
perspective, Blickwinkle, was in our same reality. I can't remember whose ending it was where there was like somebody who like made some panic comment about Blickwinkle has manifested or something. Was that where it was? Alright. I guess that makes sense since it is kind of the accumulation of their endings there where this all occurred.
姿を見せた。
And you showed yourself to us, descending into the space in front of
待って
us.
たのよ。私たち
We were waiting for you. All of
あな
us.
たが来るのをずっと待ってたの。
We've been waiting for you for so long. Why? Right? I mean, I guess to be fair, I did stare at a clock for 10 minutes yesterday just to get all the endings in a game. Did I have to do that? No. Was there 2 achievements on the line if I didn't do it? Yes, I had no choice. Damn it. What am I gonna get? 100% in 3 out of 4 games in a series? Absolutely not. I'm looking at a clock for 10 minutes straight. Oh my god. What reason could you have to call for me?
すべてあなたの
I'm
指
telling
示
you,
に従っただけよ。
that's the real reason, like, Resolve didn't want to launch. It was like, you don't want to try and edit this at the same time.
This is gonna be a 9-hour stream.
Well, this whatever. This will be easy. No, I mean the fucking the Room 3 VOD from yesterday where it'll be fine. I'll hit the point where I've got to fucking fast forward just staring at a clock for 10 minutes, and it knows if I tried to do that the same day that I played it, that I would have like flipped my whole desk.
Yeah, you like destroyed your computer.
Just, you know what? Never mind. I quit streams and video games.
あなたを呼んだのは
I'm going down to being a full-time Tetris player.
Fuck yeah. Go Grandmaster.
Oh my god. What do you
あな
mean?
たも
To be fair, this was actually me calling Blickwinkle
あなたを
because I
必要
wasn't
と
gonna
してい
let
た
up
の。
until my wife played this game.
It's true. See, but I don't know. Whose fault is it? I was the one who was like, okay, if I make my schedule, I'll do visual novels on Monday. But I don't really have so many VNs, like, lined up to play. Hey, do you have any suggestions? And she was like, boy, howdy do I.
Boy, howdy.
And then I was like, oh, alright, sure. How long do you think, like, I'll need to kind of schedule to play this? And she was like, oh, I don't know, 20 hours?
Am I wrong? How much longer is this been?
I don't know, longer than 20.
I guess I had a bad sense of time
Yeah, I noticed. You needed us and we needed you. Why?
ココとクラナリを助けるためにはどう
In
しても
order to save Coco and
あなたの
Kudenari,
力が必要だ
we
った
needed
の
to
よ
borrow your powers. Well, okay, Takashi likes drowning himself for bitches. That's not my fault.
That's not Coco's fault.
Well, I don't know. Coco's neither here nor there. Takashi wants to drown in all of his endings.
私たちは時間の流れに対して無力なの
We are powerless to fight the flow of
過ぎ
time.
てしまったことはどうすることもできないの
There's nothing we can do about the
Kerido,
past.
あ
But
なたになら
you
それが
can.
できるなぜなら4次元存在であるあなたは
The reason being that someone like you from the fourth
時間を
dimension
自由に移
can
動する
travel
ことが
freely through time.
できるのだから
I saw it then. I saw everything. My consciousness had detached from Hokuto and gone back to the world of 2017. I was gonna say, God, if only, but it's not like shit was better in 2017. Well, okay, it was better, but was it good? Alright.
2015
Was 2015 even a good year? We must go back further. An observer with no feelings. All I could do was witness events as they passed. The submarine that Tsugumi was on had continued floating up and had already made it to the surface. Small white vessel, rocking in the waves. Shut inside the small submarine, Tsugumi's shoulders drooped as she sat in the cockpit in shock. Having lost everything, she sat there soullessly, looking as empty as a glass ornament. Just then, the light came back on in Pee-Pee's eyes, who moments before had been motionless at Tsugumi's feet. He got up quickly. Let's go, robot dog!
And then the robot dog was like, wait, no.
Nice. Are we really gonna Deus Ex robot dog? She seemed unable to comprehend what happened. Pee-Pee shook off his body, flashed a look up to Tsugumi's face, and watched over to stand in front of the glass hatch. Pee-Pee began pawing at the hatch.
どうしたの
To be fair, the hamster is immortal, so... Well, what's wrong? Tsugumi mumbled weakly. Pee-Pee stood facing the hatch and
外
barked.
に出たいの
You wanna go outside? Tsugumi's gaze wandered about as if she was thinking something over. Pee-Pee continued barking the whole time. The submarine rocked gently in the waves. Tsugumi put both her hands on the wall and looked outside of the window.
わかったわ
Oh, okay. The dog's name is Pee-Pee. Saying that, Tsugumi opened not the glass hatch, but the heavy one on top of the submarine. Pure white light flashed into the interior of the ship like the sharp edge of a blade. Tsugumi squinted against the brightness. She held up one hand to fend off the light and used the other to push on the hatch with all her might. She picked up Pee-Pee and brought him outside of the boat. Pee-Pee kicked hard against the hull to fly into the air and splashed into the ocean with a beautiful arc. One mechanical dog, swimming in the ocean. Because why the fuck not? Down, down, down he went. He didn't stop at 17 meters, 34 meters, 51 meters. Tsugumi's whole life is trauma. You don't stop. To 119 meters with a robot dog. A man's body lay on the ocean bed. Pee-Pee bit onto his clothing and pulled. Was he trying to bring him somewhere? Of course, the man didn't move at all. Pee-Pee bit on some exposed flesh. The man didn't respond. His life had expired. All that remained there was a cold corpse, nothing more. Something had fallen to his side. A disc. A terabyte disc. Pee-Pee picked it up in his mouth and left the body behind. Fuck that guy. He started swimming in the ocean. Going sideways, he cut across the water. At the bottom of the dark sea, there was only the cold surface of the rock and dark black seawater. Occasionally, delicate streams of light would pass by. Perhaps Pee-Pee had found something? Without hesitation, Pee-Pee swam straight towards the white building. The face of a single dog broke the surface of the pool. He stuck out his front legs onto the edge and climbed onto the floor. He shook himself off. Small droplets of water flew off in all directions, forming a mist. The terabyte disc was still in his mouth. Pee-Pee ran. He lost his footing on the wet floor, slipped and fell. Standing up again, he readied himself and dashed off at a full gallop. His pliant body shot like a coiled spring. Pee-Pee ran down the passages, breaking to the right, turning to the left. He was aiming for something. Only her voice could be heard. Pee-Pee barked loudly. The disc fell out of his mouth to spin across the floor with a rattle. Pee-Pee quickly braked with all four legs, turned around to get the disc, and dashed across the floor again. When he turned the corner, her figure jumped out at him. She was lying down in the middle of the passage. Pee-Pee ran over to her side. He set down the disc on the floor and bit at her clothes, starting to pull on her. He tried desperately to pull her along, but just as much as he could not budge the man before, it was too much for his small frame to move her. She opened her eyes weakly. Where did you go? I was so worried about you. Pee-Pee licked her face. Where is everyone? I don't understand when you whine. Pee-Pee pulled on her clothes and scratched her shoulder, grunting with his effort. Perhaps he realized there was nothing he could do, but Pee-Pee barked frantically. Let's go home? Papa and Mama are waiting for us. So, let's go. Go home. Okay, Pee-Pee? I still don't know why her voice files are like so much shittier than everyone else's. No, I didn't think it did. It's just really weird. She closed her eyes quietly. The fake dog noises have a nice clear file. No matter how much he barked at her, she wouldn't open her eyes. Pee-Pee started walking around the area. He finally stopped, picked up the disc that he had left on the floor, and started running again. Going back the way he came, he made it to the pool. Without hesitating, he threw himself into the water. So much for the exploding in 3 minutes thing, then. That clearly didn't happen. No, exploding in 3 minutes was in 2017. In 2034, they escape up the emergency staircase. In 2017, they escape through various submarines. And Takashi drowns. Up the doggo go. Oh, that's a good little blip. Good sound effect. Pee-Pee's face broke the surface. The blue expanse of sky loomed above him. The sun had changed the water to a silvery color. Yubise Harukana was there to pick Pee-Pee up. She took the terabyte disc from his mouth and looked at the digital recording of IBF that Pee-Pee had taken with his eyes. That was the first time she realized the truth. That left behind at the bottom of the ocean in the research facility was a single girl. That girl was Coco. It was Yagami Coco, Yubise Harukana said.
ティーフ・ブラウンに感染した私と鏑木はやってきた潜水艇に救助された。
Kaburaki and I, who had been infected by the Tiefblau virus, were rescued by the salvage
でもそ
vessel.
の潜水艇にココは乗ってなかったの。
But Coco wasn't aboard the submarine
そ
with
の
us.
時私は意識を失ってたから気づかなかったけど。
I was unconscious then, so I hadn't
でコ
noticed.
コは
Oops. But I realized it afterwards. Coco had been left behind in IBF. I can't believe it.
こちらインゼルヌル管制応答願います。
This is Incel Null Control.
こち
Please
ら第
respond.
3 EBF 診療室。
よかった。
Yeah, because he tells him that there's...
派遣した特急隊から
Yeah, a little while ago we got a message from the dispatch team they couldn't find you. You had us worried there.
すまない。 少し留守にしてたんだ。
診療室に残っていた要救助者3名はすでに回収した。現在
Yeah, they do say we were able to rescue the other 3 people in the examination room, and they're being cared for in the salvage vessel.
みんなは無事なのか？
今の段階では何とも言えな
We
い。
can't say for sure their conditions are
こ
serious.
とは1分1秒を争う。潜水艇は一時緊急浮上して彼らを海上の病院へと搬送する。
We're fighting against time. The submersible is going to surface soon, and we'll transfer them to a floating medical center.
頼んだぞ。
The control center said they had rescued the other 3 people in the examination room. So
そ
why?
の要救助者3名の内訳は
Those 3
私と
people were me,
それから
Kaburaki,
私と父
and one more, my father,
田中
Tanaka
陽一のこと
Yoichi.
だったの。
Why? Why did the rescue team leave Coco there?
後から聞いた話だとそのような女の子は見かけなかったって。
I heard it from them afterward, but they said they couldn't find her. Oh, I remember. By the time the examination squad got there, Coco wasn't in the examination room. I don't know why, but for some reason, Coco had gotten out of her capsule pod. So the only people left there were you, Kaburaki, and Yoichi-san, who was already dead.
そうみたいね。
You and Kaburaki's condition was extremely serious, so they put the highest priority on saving the lives of those 2, and the rescue squad left. Meaning they overlooked Coco. No, they abandoned her. You pinched her eyes shut, her face distorted in sadness. What do you want me to do? By the time these words left my mouth, I'd returned to 2017, to that vast blue world. On the bottom of the ocean lay the cruelly broken body of a man. It didn't move. What do you want me to do? I'm not from this world. The only thing I can do is look. Just look on. You wanted to show me this dead body? It makes me sad. Terribly sad. He'd thrown his life away to protect the woman he loved. It was heartbreaking. His body had lost all warmth. I kept staring. Just then... Dad. My awareness split, broke, fractured as a powerful force of will woke up inside of me. I was infused with an overwhelming passion. Hokuto's indomitable belief, willpower, emotions, and psyche were like a raging inferno that engulfed me. That ferocious and wild power raged within me and superseded my existence. It exploded in a shower of white sparks of light and roared like thunder. Overwhelmed by the raw vigor, I withdrew. There was no place for me to be at all. Hokuto exploded with bottled-up emotions and threw his instinctive power free into darkness. Dad, don't you die on me! Please, don't die! I still haven't met you yet! Please, don't leave me, Dad! Sarah and I are waiting for you. Mom is waiting for you. Please, don't leave her sad. Help us. You promised. You said, I'm not going to die no matter what, right? You swore you wouldn't let even one person die. Coco is still in the research facility. If you don't do something, she's going to die. Takashi opened his eyes. At the bottom of the seabed, under unbearable pressure, he regained consciousness. How many minutes had it been since he last breathed? But he was undeniably alive. He had revived. Oh, was this finally where the mouthful of blood Sugumi gave him during their crazy gondola sex comes into motion? Fucking... It's Chekhov's gun, not Chekhov's small personal armory behind the secret wall like a crazy action flick. I promised her. I could hear the screams of his mind in my ears. Takashi flipped himself over, kicked off the reef, and began to swim. He cut the water with his arms and kicked with his legs, continuing to swim wildly through the water. The water pressure did not faze him, and his body felt no resistance. He moved forward in the darkness as if he were skating on ice. Bubbles trailed in an arc behind him. He maintained an unthinkable speed. tearing apart the wall of water in front of him. His only source of guidance was a faint light visible ahead. Oh, the dog gets a cute water sound effect, but not Takashi, huh? His momentum carried him flying out of the water. Putting his face above the pool, he started coughing hard, trying to expel all the seawater in his lungs. He clung to the edge of the pool, sucking in deep breaths of air. He coughed hard as he was breathing in and vomited a large amount of water. He repeated that many times. When the painful fits had died down, Takashi lay exhausted like he was dead. Truth be told, he probably had been dead. Takashi crawled across the floor. He flipped over on his back with a thud. He couldn't move. The sound of his heavy breathing echoed off the walls. Dad! Hang in there! Hokuto called out. Ha! Takashi laughed. I don't know who the heck you are. Don't call me Dad. I'm telling you, I don't have any kids. But I'm your son. Okay then. Who's your mom? Tsugumi. Tsugumi is. Yeah, it's no surprise you're laughing. You probably don't believe me, do you? But honestly, I'm a disembodied voice, so really, what do you have to lose? Because I'm talking to you from 17 years in the future.
2034年か
I didn't make it 2034. Looking too fast. By the way, where are you? I can't see you anywhere. I'm close by you. Takashi peeled himself off the floor where he'd been laying and rose slowly. He looked all around. And even if you look for me, I don't think you can see me. I'm only looking at you, Dad.
意味がわからないんだから
What are you talking about?
お父さんの世界に肉体があるわけじゃないんだよ
This does not count as a sad wet man. Because you'll remember that a sad wet man has to also include middle-aged. That's why you have to get that important factor in there. That's when you start getting into your Alan Wake, like Raven Vesperia, sad wet man territory. They gotta be middle-aged too. I'll see, but not at this point. In 2034, he would qualify as... Well, he wouldn't even be middle-aged yet then. No. You've seen how smart he is. He's not gonna make it past like 40, 42. No, he's in trouble. And yeah, considering the Curie virus, that means physically he'll never be middle-aged. So, even worse. The oldest he's gonna get is 25. And I mean... a guy like Takashi at 25? Completely impossible to tolerate. I'm connected to your mind, talking to you. Takashi put his fingers in his ear and wiggled it. I must be hallucinating this. I wonder if I'm... No, no. Shh, shh, not crazy. Connected via the fourth dimension to your own son 17 years in the future. Thank you. You don't have time for this. We've had enough philosophical lectures. Will you please just go save the small dying child lying down in the hallway? Oh yeah, you mentioned earlier about Coco in the research facility, right? Coco didn't get out in one of the submarines. The man from the rescue squad who told you about the survivors. He was talking about you, Kaburaki, and the researcher. Ugh, you gotta be joking. You've gotta go back and check the research facility one more time. Coco's still in there. Takashi hurried down the corridor. The research facility was almost entirely silent. The only sound was the echo of Takashi's shoes against the floor. The corridor wound left and right. He searched around but didn't find signs of anyone.
おい、やっぱり誰もいないじゃないか。
I don't see anyone.
そんなはずないよ。
That's impossible.
絶対研究所の中にいるんだ。
I'm telling you, she's got to be there somewhere. Takashi tilted his head a bit, quizzically.
まあ、お前には礼を言っておこう。
I suppose I should say
お前
thank
がお
you.
父さんなんて狂言じみたことを言って俺を起こさなかったら
If you hadn't woken me up saying something stupid like Dad.
あのまま
Probably
海の
would have
も
drowned.
と化してただろうからな。
No, you did. Don't worry about
体の
that.
方は大丈夫？
You got the chance to drown yourself, Takeshi. It's alright.
大丈夫なわけないだろう。
Three times, because we did the Sora end, he drowned himself. And we did the Sugumi end, and he drowned himself. And then we did this end, and he drowned himself. We didn't foresee that Sugumi would make him immortal before he tried to drown himself heroically. I guess... every time? No, in the Sugumi end, they don't have the freaky mouthful of blood gondola sex. Okay, so he wasn't immortal the first time he threw himself out of Sugumi's, like, submarine. But he did awkwardly drown himself for his AI girlfriend and then, I guess, just end up immortal in, like, a flooded laboratory until the end of time. That's embarrassing. Damn. Damn. Do you think he ever regretted it?
この数時間以内に俺の身に降りかかった数々の出来事を考えてみろ。
Just think about everything that's happened to me in the last few hours, will ya?
ティーフ・ブラウンの発病から始まって急激な減圧、加圧、つぐみから採取した抗
I
体を
was
打って
getting teeth blow. I got decompressed, pressurized, and pumped up with Sugumi's
最後は海
antibodies.
の底に放り出
And
され
finally
て
ended with getting
窒息
sucked out to the bottom of the sea and practically drowning. You're leaving out that that was voluntary, Takashi. You did that to you.
放り出されてというか
Thank
自分で飛び
you.
込んだわけではある
Well,
が
I guess I did kind of throw myself out
その
there.
割には元気そうに見えるけど。
Despite all that, you seem to be doing all right to me. Well,
確かに
I suppose
つぐみ
Sugumi's
から採取
antibodies
した抗
must
体
have
が
kicked in.
効いてきたのかな
Or maybe the effects of the Cure virus had already started. No, there was no way his DNA could be rewritten so quickly. But that might be another explanation for why Takashi recovered so quickly from jumping into the water. I had no way of knowing. It didn't matter though. He looked a lot better after walking around for a while. He looked strong even. Takashi walked down the passageway on steady legs. He came to an intersection. Checking quickly to the left and right, he set down the path to the left. It was right after that. Wait a
今何
second.
か動かなかったか
Did something just move right now? Without waiting for Okuto's reply, Takashi started running.
ここ
Koko had fallen down in the corridor. Takashi rushed over to Koko and lifted up her motionless body. Koko spoke faintly.
お前こんなとこで何を
What are you doing here? Did we get like a new artist for this one? This does not look like either character. Pee-Pee wasn't, I couldn't find him and... So I went looking for him. It appeared that Koko had gotten out of the pod by herself before the rescue squad had arrived and gone off looking for Pee-Pee.
お前ってやつは本当に
Oh, she has the second type of Cure, doesn't she? Because they established there's two types. And Sugumi has one. And her name is Moon. And Koko says she's from the sun. I hate this game. See, we spend so much time. We dedicate so much of our time to joking about how all of my wife's favorite games are noteworthy, are famous in most cases for being absolute burning trash piles of games. If it's a famous kusoge, my wife is there to go, let it cook. So I don't know why I did not, in the moment where my wife was so insistent I play this game, why it did not ever occur to me to pause, to perhaps take a moment and go, wait, is this game completely fucking weird? Is this game objectively bad? We'll completely ignore how objectively bad in games does sometimes translate into, like, so bizarre that it's an okay experience. But is it objectively bad? Why did I not think to ask that question? Every day my wife is out here telling people to play like fucking Enemy Zero. And I didn't stop to say, wait, this game you're telling me to play, is it good? Or do you like it? Make the distinction, oh sweet wife of mine. Is the game good or do you like it? Answer the question. As I acknowledged, sometimes objectively bad can still be an enjoyable game experience. I'm a Silent Hill Homecoming defender. I fully understand that bad games, sometimes they got the juice. Is it juice that you find at the bottom of a dumpster? Yes. But that is still the juice. Jesus Christ. I don't love Takeshi. You can't make me answer that I love them all. I mean, I love Coco, but I don't know who the hell this is in this CG. This is Anya Forger now. Coco looked innocently at the exasperated Takeshi and muttered, "Is everyone else still sleeping?" That was all Coco could say before she passed out. The next instant... Oh, now it explodes. The falling wreckage from Lemu had probably collided with the roof of the research facility. Technically unlikely if we were in an area with such, like, heavy ocean currents. Paradise was still collapsing, it seemed. Takashi still scooped up Coco's body and dashed across the floor. Kicking up his feet, Takashi screamed to the void. What am I supposed to do? Can't you escape by swimming through the pool? Hokuto answered. Idiot. It's 119 meters underwater down here. Here, how much is that in freedom units? What does 119 meters actually mean to me? Yeah, it's getting there. Not yen to US dollars. I do not have 119 million yen. Would that I did. Well, yeah, 130 yards. You know, it's like the meter is just short, so it was like, what does it actually come out to at like a bigger number, like 119? With 2 like meters, I'm willing to simplify it to 9 feet, but yeah, you know, it's fine. Coco and I won't be able to hold our breath that long. good news. We have the Cure virus in 2 totally different ways.
大地浮上するにはな、減圧しながらゆっくりとゆっくりと登っていかなきゃならないんだ。
Yeah, this is what divers do. The general rule of thumb is to go up, you know, slightly slower than the bubbles.
ここは 12.5 気圧。
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
海上は1気圧だ。
And the ocean surface is 1 atmosphere. Plus, it doesn't matter. Once you get up there, then they can put you in a decompression chamber. The bends is treatable.
減圧しなかったら。
Well, okay, not once it's like actually causing symptoms, but if you rise too fast, it's okay.
エレベーターは
分断されてる。
No, I mean, if you shot yourself up from the bottom of the, like, ocean in a rocket, yes. Technically, they would freeze. Your greater risk in any kind of a pressurization, like, situation, more than anything else. We'll see, but the styrofoam cup is going down. But yeah, in actuality, your risk of getting decompressed too fast is the change in boiling points mean that your brain will literally boil in your body. Because if you decompress so quickly that you create a vacuum within your own body, you will look... Yeah, he doesn't really have a brain. Yeah, so he's probably fine. But yeah, you lower the boiling point to the instant where you just kind of, like, immediately parboil everything inside yourself. And so, really, in the split moment before you explode from immediate decompression, you boil. So you really, it's probably the most painless way to die, because it's instantaneous, complete boiling of everything that runs your internal organs, and also your internal organs. So, yeah, when you explode all over everything because of rapid decompression, like, at least it's been cooked. You know, it's fine. It's fine. But I also learned it does work the other way around. That before we invented refrigeration methods and chemical cooling, you would use vacuums and then, like, rapid cooling then that's how you made ice before we had, like, electricity and stuff. Was you'd use a clay pot, create a vacuum in the pot by using, like, hot water and, like, sealing methods, and then in the moment that vacuum would be formed, because you didn't really have the technology to form, like, a really lasting vacuum, you would dunk that into, like, a cold well or something, because just that level of cold would be enough to create ice. And yeah, and so, as much as the vacuum itself would rise up the, like, freezing point, decompression lowers the boiling point. But yeah, no person, even with super virus, could swim fast enough to change the boiling point. So, aside from the nitrogen in your blood, which they could just treat on the surface, you're gonna be okay.
And nobody
cares about the elevator. You just want to go see your AI girlfriend again. You should be happy that your son tried to give you the excuse. Yeah, he wants to drown. Let him drown. Let him drown. Okay, is it finally time? Is it finally time for the final Chekhov's gun to go off? We are down to Chekhov's, like, novelty snub-nosed pistol up his sleeve. The offhand mention that these pods can also function as cryogenic chambers. Takashi's, haha, my cane was a gun the whole time. Chekhov's gun. There was no sign of flooding inside IBF. There was no sign of running water, and the tremors had stopped for the time being. But there was still no time to relax. The music was still real panicked sounding. It wasn't Rockhawk panicked, but it was up there. Coco's body was rapidly reaching its limit. Takashi laid Coco down on the bed. He ran towards the side of the desk at the corner of the room. He grabbed one of these storage bins and grabbed something. It was the antibodies for Tief Blau taken from Tsugumi. Coco hadn't been inoculated with it yet. Without a word, Takashi gave Coco the antibodies. Coco had long passed the stage of suffering and lay there looking limp.
早く聞いてくれ。
Come on, do the trick. Takashi threw the empty syringe away and held onto Coco's hand as she lay there. A while had passed, but Coco's condition didn't seem to be improving. As a matter of fact, it seemed to be getting worse.
くそ、なんで聞かねえんだよ。
How come it isn't working?
ココはお父さんたちよりも何日か前に感染してるんだ。
Coco was infected a few days earlier than you, Dad.
だからその分、
Like a whole
病気が
week
進行しちゃっ
longer.
てるんだと思う。
So her disease has been progressing for that much longer than everyone else.
このままじっとしてても始まらないな。
I can't just sit here and wait.
とにかく脱出方法だ。
Besides, we gotta find a way to escape.
何か手を考えなければ。
Just need to think of something. Takashi paced around the room with his head down. Occasionally, heavy noises echoed from the ceiling. Takashi listened to the noises. And then, Takashi, looking as if he just realized something, whispered to himself.
さっき俺とつぐみが脱出する前、アナウンスがあった。
I heard an announcement earlier before Tsugumi and I
赤い
escaped.
何分前とかいうドイツ語のアナウンスがな。
The announcement said something in German like, "You're gonna be crushed in a few minutes."
なのにどうしてなんだ。なんで未だにこの研究所は無事なんだ。
But this place is still standing. Why is that?
そんなこと僕に聞かれてもわからないけど。
I don't know either.
でも
But
もしかしたら
maybe...
もしかしたらなんだ。
そのアナウンスはレミューの悪化を告げるためのものだったんじゃないかな。
that announcement might have been about Lemu
だって考
imploding.
えてみてよ。
But think about it.
この研究所は内部の気圧と外の水圧が同じになるように保たれてるんだよ。
This laboratory has been built so that the atmosphere on the inside and outside are
力が
equal.
釣り合ってるんだから、そう簡単に潰れることはないんだと思う。
And since they're still balanced, it probably won't implode as easily. That must have been it. If you left the cap on an empty plastic bottle, even if you came back years later, the air would still be trapped inside, which meant the laboratory should have been safe. Unless extreme force was added from somewhere, such as a giant piece of partition from Lemu falling on it. Takashi nodded upon hearing Okuto's explanation, although he didn't seem to be fully convinced. By accepting the explanation, he was probably trying to clear one of the many problems facing him at that moment. As time progressed, Coco's condition got worse and worse.
ちくしょう、なんでこんなことに。なんでなんだよ。
Ugh, why is all of this happening? Why? Takashi kicked the
お
wall.
父さんがもっと早く抗体を打ってあげてれば。
Well, Dad, you should have given her the antibody earlier. You know, you gave it at the first possible moment, but... Well, Dad...
ああ、んなこと言ったってしょうがないだろ。
A little late for that now, isn't it?
あの時ココはポットの中で加圧状態にあったんだ。
Besides, Coco was in the pod under pressure at that time.
蓋を開けるわけにはいかなかったんだよ。
I couldn't just open the lid.
でも蓋を開けなくても注射ぐらいできたはずだよ。
But you could have given her a shot without opening the lid.
だってユウが言ってたじゃないか。
Because you
高
said...
圧酸素治療の他にもレーザーでの減筋やら簡単な手術のできる
Well, she never mentioned these things could all happen at the same time.
使い方によってはハイバネーション
There we
する可能
go.
のようだけど
There's Chekhov's assassin's greed-ass hidden gun.
それだけの機能があるんだったらきっと注射だって。
It has so many other functions, it probably should be able to give an injection.
でもユウは蓋を閉めたまま注射ができるなんて一言も言ってなかったぞ。
But you didn't say a word about being able to give shots without opening the lid, did she?
あいつが言わなかったってことは、そ
If
れ
she
が
didn't
不可能だ
mention
から
it,
だ
it's
ろ。
probably not possible.
もちろん俺や少年は装置のことなんて全くわからないしな。
Besides, neither you nor I have any idea what this device can do.
大体ハイバネーションって何なんだよ。
That's cryogenic suspension anyway.
冬眠のことだよ。
It's like hibernation. Hokuto answered as if anyone would know. I'm gonna be real with you, Takeshi. Most people, I'm willing to take a bet, would understand what cryogenic suspension means. It's not. Ooh, misterioso.
Tomi?
When did this game come out? Surely not so early that we didn't already have, like, urban legends about, like, Disney's Frozen Head and shit. I really doubt that cybernetic. Yeah, no, come on. 2002. I would say your average person would know what cryogenic suspension meant.
で、クマとかカエルとかがするやつ
You
か
mean like bears do in the winter?
ハイバネーション機能があるってことは、つまり人工冬眠ができるってことだと思う。
I'm sure that cryogenic suspension means you can artificially induce hibernation.
人間の体を6度から7度ぐらいの低体温状態に保って、心拍数と呼吸数
So
を
smart.
ギリギリまで減らす。
He's like the smartest guy there is. He would never fail English.
そうすることによって代謝効率を下げて
That
エ
is
ネルギー
so
を極力消
impossible.
費しないようにするんだ。
That way, it increases your metabolic efficiency and conserves as much energy as possible.
だけど、なんでそんなもんがここに
I wonder why they have it here. Maybe because they're studying deadly viruses that they don't have cures for yet. Crazy, Takashi. At the same time, Hokuto's thoughts stopped too. And then they screamed at the same time.
そうだ、冬眠させちまえば
We'll
いいん
put
だ。
her in cryogenic suspension.
そうだ、冬眠させればいいんだよ。
Like, 2834 kid, you could probably mention that in your time they have completely cured Tiefblau. That seems like a little bit of a necessary fact that we're leaving out here. I don't know. At this point, there are so many, like, moving pieces in this plot. The writers might have forgotten that they established that.
低体温状態に保てるってことは、ウイルスが体を蝕んでいく速度も遅くできるってことだよな。
If her body temperature is kept low, it'll slow down the rate of the virus infection too, right? Well, it depends on the virus. And as none of us are microbiologists in the room right now, I can't say for sure that that would work on Tiefblau, but yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, I'm 16. I know how this works.
よし、今とにかく時間だ。
Yeah, I guess that's it. Is there anything more 16-year-old than yes? I decided this is how something works, so it is 100% undeniably how it works. All right, all we need now is a little more time. If we have time, I'm sure it'll work.
1分でも1秒でもいいから、ウイルスの進行速度を遅くできれば、それに越したことはないし。
If we can slow down that virus even for a minute or a second, it'll be better than nothing.
そうと決まれば早速。
Takashi carried the frail Coco and set her into the pod. Then he started flipping through the manual at full speed, skimming it. It didn't seem difficult to set up. Takashi, unlike his usual self, manipulated the computer terminal swiftly and smoothly. Then, all that was left was to turn on the switch. Coco was asleep in the pod. Yeah, see, they could use that as a tagline. You know, when we all get our medbed cards, that's what's going to be like, you know, etched into them. So easy, even Takashi can do it. A split second before he flipped the switch, Coco quietly opened her eyes. Who is that? Who's standing behind you, Takepion? Oh, what's up? It's your boy, Blickwinkle. Hokuto was there.
やつのことが見えるのか
Can you see him, Coco? Yeah, I do.
ココ、僕だよ。
Coco,
だよ。
it's me, Hokuto. Remember? Your bestie from the future? Hokuto is your name? Can I call you Hokutan? The Coco at that time didn't seem to know Hokuto yet. So, Who was the phantom girl I had been
北
seeing?
斗。それがお前の名前なのか？
Is that your name?
そうか。
Really? Like, Hokuto no Ken? Badass, bro.
ココ、俺には見えないが、その北斗ってやつが俺たちのことを助けてくれたんだぞ。
Can't see him, but this guy Hokuto helped us, you know?
北端ありがとう。それから
And
それから
and the other person,
もう一人の
you.
二人が
Thank you.
もう一人？
Other
もう一人
person.
誰かいるのか？
There's someone else? Yeah, okay. Now, you thought it was Hokuto, but it was me, Blickwinkle.
いる。北端の向こう
I
に
can see him
見える。
behind Hokuton. We're all just so nicely waiting in line for like Coco's thank yous. Silence filled the room. The room temperature suddenly felt lower for some reason. Coco was looking at me. Just me. Into my eyes. Are you talking about me? Feeling flustered, I gathered up my courage and spoke.
そう
Yeah, you.
やっと会えたね。
We finally meet. Huh? I mean, I suppose at this point, some fifth-dimensional Blickwinkle.
ココ、北端のことは知らないけど、
I don't know Hokuton, but
君のことは
I sure know
知
you.
ってるんだよ。だって
Because
だって
all this time you've been watching over me, haven't
ココ
you?
のこと。今四次元人間さん、
Fourth dimension-san,
ブリック、ビンケルさん、
Blickwinkle-san,
またひよこごっこやろ
let's
うね。
play chicks again sometime.
ピヨピヨってピヨピヨって
ココ、それは俺と。
Coco, I was the one. Coco's cheeks eased up a little.
タケピョンにはわからないと思うけど、
I don't think you knew it, Takepion, but
ココはタケピョンだけじゃなくて
I was playing with him
こ
too.
の人とも
Not just you.
そうだよね。
Isn't that right? Coco was asking me. Uh-huh. I might have been watching over Coco for all this time. I wanted to get closer to you too, but it was probably not possible. I would have put my entire pussy into my P.O.P.Os, unlike that loser Takashi. If Coco had been playing chicks with me, thank you.
ほいじゃあさ、ココに告白したのも
Then
君
you
だ
were
った
the
の
one who told me that you liked me? I guess. I suppose I was. Coco and I looked at each other. We were staring at each other. Our eyes filled with passion. Let's not put words into my mouth here, Gam. Blickwinkle is not into 10-year-olds. There's no passion in the eyes here. That is not better. No, thank you. Everyone knows my waifu is a horse girl.
ココ、これからどうなっちゃうの？
What's going to happen to me? Well, we're gonna get you a better microphone, honey. I don't know what happened there. All of a sudden, a dark shadow was covered Coco's eyes.
死んじゃうの？
Am I going to die? Don't be silly. There's no way you're gonna die. We're putting you into cryogenic suspension. You're gonna wake up in Fallout 4 one of these days. Bad news there, but, you know, there's worse places to go. I won't let you die. Excitedly, I appealed to her. Although she looked to be in some pain, Coco smiled at me happily. My heart seemed that it would surely melt.
ここ、そういうわけだ。
Coco, basically,
俺たちが必ずお前を救ってみせる。
we're gonna save you, no matter
だ
what.
から今は安心して
So
ゆっ
just
くり休むん
relax.
だ。
I want you to rest now. As he was saying that, Takashi went to close the pod.
どうするの？
What's going to happen?
少しの間だけ眠るんだよ。クマさん
Going
み
to
たい
sleep
な
for a while, just like a cuddly bear.
お願い。ここを置いてかないで。
Please, don't leave me.
どこにも行かないで。
Don't go anywhere.
一人ぼっちに。
Don't leave me alone.
一人ぼっちなんかするわけないだろ。
We're not gonna leave you alone, are we?
俺たちがずっとそばにいてやる。
We're gonna stay right here.
嘘だもん。
You're lying.
ここ、そんなの信じない。
I don't believe you.
わがまま言うな。
Quit being so stubborn.
このままじゃ本当にお前は。
If we leave you like this, you're going to.
嫌なの。
I don't want to.
一人ぼっち。
I don't want to be all by myself.
嫌なの。
I'll be too lonely.
怖いの。
I'm scared. I'm so scared.
じゃあ、たけぴょん、一緒に。
Takepyeon, will you
一緒に。
lie
添い寝
down
して
and sleep next to me?
無理言うな。
There's no way.
このポットは
This
な。
pod is. Takashi stopped in the middle of what he was saying. He looked up at the ceiling, then to the monitor on the wall, and finally to the pod next to
よ
Coco.
し。じゃあこうしよ
Alright, how about this then?
う。ココの隣のポットに
I'll
俺が寝
sleep
る。
in the pod next to you.
どうだ。それなら寂しくないだろ。
How's that? You won't be lonely anymore, right? Coco looked back and forth between Takashi and me. She had a worried look on her face and stared at us with eyes that seemed about to burst into
本
tears.
当に
Really?
嘘つかない？
You aren't lying?
あ
Of course not.
絶対だよ。
You promise?
ここを置いて。
You won't leave me
めっ
and
ちゃ嫌
go?
だよ。
あ。行かないよ。
Of
行くわけ
course,
な
I
いだろ。
wouldn't do that. I won't
わ
go.
かった。
Alright.
ここ、たけぴょんのこと。
I trust you,
よ
Takepyeon.
しいい子だ。
That's a good girl. Takashi patted Coco's head. Yeah, she will not let him choose drowning
じゃあ
again.
閉めるぞ。ここ。
She's like, you're gonna close this and go, like, kill yourself in the pool. I know it. You have one goal and it's kind of fucked up, Takashi. Takashi turned on the switch. The lid of the pod slowly went down.
ねえ、お休みする前に、一つだけ。
Before I go to sleep, will you listen to my request?
願い事？
たけぴょんに言ったんじゃ。
I wasn't talking to you, Takepyeon. Go set up your own pod. Coco's eyes were pointing towards me. Me?
あのね、ここね、
Me.
ここね。
I
君に会いたい。
I want to see you. What?
君にもう一度
I
会い
want
た
to see you again.
い。会って、もっといっぱ
I want to see you and talk with you more. Uh-huh.
い。もしかしたら、ここ、
I think that I
君のこと、
might just...
君のこと、
It's just...
ダメだ。や
Oh,
っぱり
I
言えな
can't
いか
say
も。
it.
でも、
But
約束、
will you promise me
もう一度、
that you
いつ
and I
か、会える
will
よね。
see each other again someday? Yeah,
ここ、待ってるから。
I'll be waiting.
ずっとずっと、
I'll wait for you no matter what.
必ず、
You'll
迎えに、
come get me?
約束。
Promise?
だよ。
I promise. And the promise was a lie because I'm never coming back to this game once we're done with the ending. The space between the lid and the pot itself was almost gone. I could barely see Coco through the narrow slit. The betrayal runs deep. Coco faced towards me and whispered one last thing in her tiny voice.
それじゃあ、おやすみ。
Oh, Yasumi, little one.
お 兄ちゃん。
Well, Nichan? Before I could say anything in reply, the lid had closed. The sound of compressing air filled the room. A low whir of the motor. With a light metallic ring, the pod shut completely. Takashi pushed another switch attached to the pod's chassis. The cryogenic suspension function was activated. There were small sounds as though gas was leaking out. The pod slowly cooled down, humming with a slight vibration.
さてと
Yeah, you might want to, like, towel off. I don't know how being wet is actually going to work with cryogenic suspension,
Oi!
but...
なんとかビンケルいるか何お父さんなんだ北斗か
Yeah, My switch is right here, but the animals can't see me. They don't know.
ったく紛らわしい
They
や
don't
つら
know
だ
that
な
I've just abandoned them. Oh man. No, it's okay. Dom would still be happy to see you. Dom would be like, bro, did you just go hike the entire world? That's fucking hardcore. You guys are
お
confusing
前は
me.
なんとかビンケルとは
You
別
and that
人なんだ
Winkle guy are two different people, right?
それとも北斗も4次元の存在なのか
Or are you from the fourth dimension too, Hokuto?
うん僕はただ
No, I'm
視点を
just
借りてるだけなんだ
borrowing his
今
perspective for now.
ふん
Yeah, just tell Dom that you were on a mission to, like, bench press everything in your house or something. He'll understand.
っていうか全然わけがわからんのだけどまあいいや
I don't get it at all, but I suppose it don't matter. Saying that, Takashi sank his body into an empty pod. The pod next to Koko's.
お父さんどうするつもりなの
We established this, Hokuto, but okay.
どうするもこうするも
What do
仕
you
方ない
think?
だろ
There's nothing else I can do, right?
約束しちまったからな
I made her a promise, you know?
じゃあお父さんも
So, you're going to...
そういうことだ
Yep.
どっちみち脱出する方法はなさそうだしな
Doesn't look like there's a way to
救
escape
助隊の第
anyway.
二陣が来るのを待つしかないわけであり
We'll just have to wait for the second
だが
rescue team
た
to
だ待ってい
arrive.
ても無駄に体力を消費するだけだから
It'll just be a waste of energy to wait here doing nothing,
俺は寝
so
ることにする
might as well get some sleep. Man, you know what? I'll take 17 years of cryogenic sleep. Sign me up!
お父さんちょっと待ってよまたん
That would fix me.
俺はもう疲れたんだよ
I'm tired.
本当に
Really,
本当に
really
疲れ
tired.
たんだ
Takashi stretched his arm from where he lay and flicked the switch for both closing the lid and starting the cryogenic suspension at the same time. The lid started to close, quietly, steadily.
じゃあな北斗
Hey, from the fourth dimension, did you see me laying that pipe?
あとはよろしく頼むぞ
I'm counting on
お
you.
父さんあ一つ言い忘れたことがあった
Oh, hey, one more thing. It was cold in that gondola.
そのお父さんって呼び方
Quit
い
calling
い
me
加減や
dad,
めてもらえ
will
ない
you?
かなだってしょうがないじゃないか
Well, I can't help it.
僕はお父さんの子供なんだから
I'm your son.
違う違うそういう意味で
That's
言った
not
んじ
what
ゃ
I
ないん
mean.
だどうせお父さんって呼ぶんならもっと上品にエレ
You
ガン
call
ト
me
にだな
dad. Why don't you say it a little more elegantly?
パパと
Call me
So
Papa,
I-
okay? Papa.
分かったね
You got it? Yeah, this localization kind of bites. Hokuto took a deep breath, trying to say something. But before he could say it, the lid of the pot had shut. Familiar hissing sound echoed in the room. Yeah! Like, he wanted the complete opposite of more elegantly. And by making it like, oh, call me father, completely removes that he wanted it to be like the same as Coco. Cryogenic suspension had activated. The pod cooled down with small vibrations. Just in case, Hokuto and I checked the monitor. The cryogenic suspension in the two pods was functioning properly. No signs of abnormalities in the bioscans of Koko and Takashi. The world in 2017? A laboratory at the bottom of the ocean. All that remained there was a perspective. Hokuto and I started to think. Oh, yeah, we gotta let everyone know Koko and Takashi are here, in IBF. I wasn't sure whether it was I or Hokuto who thought that. Maybe it was because we had switched places so often that the boundary between Hokuto and myself had started to become vague. Our consciousness had become muddy, tangled and intertwined. We were close to a state of fusion. Or maybe, we might have been that way ever since the beginning. Muddly! Yeah, we pew! My thoughts were the same as Hokuto's, and Hokuto's thoughts were the same as mine. Being me and being Hokuto weren't all that different. We had been one since long ago, and would continue to be one. That thought just went through my mind. But it wasn't the time to be engrossed in such thoughts. Our consciousness flew up to the floating island. A miniature submarine floating on the ocean surface. Swaying in the waves and being teased along by time, it left a carefree trail in the deep blue ocean. I searched inside of it, but Tsugumi had already disappeared. She must be somewhere on the floating island. I expanded my sight and looked down at the entire artificial island. I saw someone. But it wasn't Tsugumi. It was Yubisei Harukana. Hokuto and I flew down near her side. Walking along with Yubisei Harukana was Pipi. He was soaking wet. Which meant that it must have been right after you had picked Pipi from the ocean surface. She was walking down the trail, attended by a few men who seemed to be staff members of Lemu. She was walking towards a helicopter. She was probably on her way to a large hospital or something. She looked surprisingly healthy. She was walking steadily without support. Although she seemed in a dark mood, at least her health seemed fine. The antibodies must have worked, just like with Takashi. Anyway, I needed to tell her what had happened to Takashi and Koko.
You!
It was Hokuto who shouted at her. Who is it? Caught off guard, she glanced all around. The staff members started skeptical looks at her when she started talking to herself all of a sudden. Oh no, the crazy set in. Who is this me? There was no way she could have known Hokuto. Hokuto hadn't even been born in that world. And she wouldn't have believed us if we told her. We're talking to you from 17 years in the future! Hokuto told her. Look, there's something I want to tell you. So listen to me carefully. Actually, Hokuto told her Koko and Takashi had been left in the laboratory and that they were under cryogenic suspension in the pods. No way. It can't be. You have to help them right away, okay? Are you serious? Totally. Koko and Takashi weren't on the sub that rescued you. And the only others who were rescued were Tsugumi and Kaburaki. Pipi looked at Hokuto and me and gave a loud bark. Oh, yeah, Pipi! Pipi had a disc in his mouth, didn't he? The terabyte disc, right? That's right. Sora's data and her memories are on it. Wait a second. Where on earth are you now? Doesn't matter. You have to believe me. How am I supposed to do that? What is this? Am I hearing things? No, you're not. Seriously, Takashi and Koko are... Pipi started barking again. Oh, I know. Pipi must have seen it. Pipi saw Koko collapsed in the hallway.
その時の画像データが保存されてると思う。
There's gotta be some image data of that saved in
それ
Pipi's
を再生
memory.
してみて。
Can you play it back? She dropped her head down as if deep in thought, closed her eyes, and massaged her temples with her fingertips. After seeming distressed in that manner for a while, she must have reached the conclusion. You looked up in different directions and spoke.
分かった。
Alright,
あなたが誰だか知らないけど、とにかく調べてみるよ。
I have no idea who you are, but I'll see what I can do.
ありがとう、ユウ。それじゃあ頼んだよ。もう僕、
I'm
元
counting
の世
on
界に
you.
戻らなきゃいけないから。
It's about time I get back to where I came
元の
from.
世界って
Where did you come from?
きっと信じてもらえないと思うけど、
You
今
won't
から
believe me, but
17年後の世界だよ。
17 years in the future. Oh, whoosh! Back to the world of 2034! Surprisingly, the future had been completely altered. Yeah, I sure hope it has. Takashi was there. Koko was there. Yubisei Harukana was there. So was Yubisei Akikana. Tsugumi, Sarah, Sora, Kaburaki was there. So was Hokuto. They were chatting happily in a circle. I don't know what it... What do you mean I don't know what had happened? I don't know what had happened. Maybe the last 2 hours, but who can say for sure? The future had been altered. But how did it happen? But what? I suppose Yubisei Harukana had kept her promise with Hokuto, so Koko and Takashi were rescued immediately afterwards. Or at least sometime across the last 17 years. Who can say? In that version of history, Takashi hadn't died 17 years previously, but was still alive and well. So in that world, Tsugumi didn't have to send Hokuto and Sarah to the institution. To the institution! In that version of the future, Hokuto and Sarah didn't have to be separated. Besides, I understood that the incident in 2034 was planned so that I, Blickwinkle, don't forget the name, buddy, would come into existence. It was planned to have me descend into the world so that the past would be altered and Koko and Takashi would be saved. Thumbs up!
I did it.
But in that history, Koko and Takashi had already been rescued safely 17 years prior. Time for me to return to my home dimension. Therefore, there was no longer any way to grab my attention and make me appear in the world. There's no further endings for me here. Therefore, Yubisei Harukana didn't have to come up with an outrageous plan to trap everyone at Lemu. Which meant that the incident starting May 1st, 2034 hadn't taken place in that history. None of them had been trapped in Lemu, which meant that Yubisei Harukana had no reason to lie to Yubisei Akikana. Yubisei Harukana must have told Yubisei Akikana the truth in that history. And as such, they were all able to spend their lives peacefully from 2017 until now. They'd all lived safely. Time just passing by, peacefully and slowly. And what I was seeing right then... Hey! But wait a minute! I needed to think a little more about it. 2017, Takashi and Koko were saved by Yubisei Harukana's actions. So if the time passed by peacefully, it would eventually be the year 2034. There wouldn't be any accident. Blickwinkle wouldn't appear. What would happen then? Hokuto in that world wouldn't talk to Takashi in the past, 2017, just in case you forgot mid-conversation. In the past that I knew, Hokuto had funneled his raw untamed force and had shouted to Takashi's body lying on the bottom of the ocean, "Don't you die on me!" But in the past retraced from that future, Takashi never would have heard his son scream. Oh fuck, we screwed up the whole timeline. That meant Takashi would have decomposed on the bottom of the ocean. Since Takashi hadn't come back to life, Koko would have been left in the hallway, and both of them would die because of 2017 had already taken place as historical fact, which meant that even in the past connected directly to that world, the incident in 2017 wouldn't have been avoided. Therefore, that world could never be possible. I could never exist. It was a paradox. Son of a bitch! If that world could exist, a question would naturally arise. Who saved the Takashi who's alive here today? Was it Hokuto from a different future? Was it that Hokuto from a world where there had been an accident in 2034 that saved Takashi? No, that wasn't possible. We've made clear lines between what is and isn't possible in this game. Because in order for the incident to take place in 2034, the condition that Takashi could not be saved in 2017 had to be true. Which meant, in order for Takashi to come back to life at the bottom of the ocean, the events had to take place in 2034. And in order for Coco to go under cryogenic suspension, the events had to take place in 2034. Therefore, that peaceful world could never exist. Just as I reached that conclusion, Takashi, who was cheerfully talking with everyone, suddenly started to decompose with a horrible sound. What? How does one decompose with a horrible sound? I guess, just kind of a really dramatic schlorp. His skin became soggy and peeled off by itself. His exposed muscle fibers became dark and putrid, their surface flaking away. His cells started to dissolve and run like mud dripping to the ground. His abdomen burst open, spilling his internal organs. Oh, this'll ruin anybody's picnic. His hair fell out in chunks, exposing the white skull underneath. All that was left were white bones with pieces of red flesh stuck to them. Yeah, I think we just logicked Takashi to death. Eventually his skeleton collapsed with a dry sound. So he did the opposite of drowning, which was, I suppose, just suddenly fucking dying in the air.
I love this game.
This game is terrible. Don't listen to her. At the same time, Coco disappeared noiselessly. Confused, Hokuto and I flew back to 2017. Sorry, excuse me, did you fuck something up here? Yubisei Harukana was standing still in the same place. What? Yeah, I know. Takashi rots in place in an instant. Coco, blip. Don't tell me it was only a joke or something. I won't. It was real. I'm telling the truth. Okay, but we fucked up the timeline, like, hella bad. So you're gonna have to sit on this information until 2034, okay? Takashi and Coco are sleeping in the capsule pods right now, but you can't rescue them! What? Why is that? Because. Because is all the reason we got. Enough, I can't stand it any longer. I pushed away Hokuto's consciousness and jumped to the front. You have to wait for 17 years! I told her that before anything else. 17 years from now, I will reappear before you. I promise. You puckered her lips and cocked her head to the side. Just listen carefully to what I'm going to tell you. I roughly explained to her. 17 years from now, I'll reappear before you all. I just told you that, right? But in order for me to reappear, you gotta trick me. You gotta give me the old rigmarole. What I'm asking you to do is trick me 17 years from now. Trick me into falsely believing that it's the year 2017 again. When that happens, I'll still be the third eye, Blickwinkle, and that will cause me to reveal myself. And unless I reveal myself, neither Takashi nor Coco will be saved. This is coming close. This is coming close to the pure surreal moment of, like, doing the end of Endwalker at, like, 3 in the morning.
These are the same emotions in my brain as Xenos rocking up as a dragon at 3 a.m. Me being like, that's right, I'm the third eye from the fourth dimension at midnight. Yeah, that's doing the same thing to my psyche. These are the scars I will never remove from my soul. Because in order to restore life to Takashi, who sank to the bottom of the ocean, I need to reappear myself and go back to the year 2017. Which is now. Don't worry about it. If I don't appear myself, Takashi's gonna rot at the bottom of the ocean. And we'll still get him out, but he'll still rot again anyway. And nobody wants to see that. Yeah, you's got the face that really has this, like, going. This is the emotion of the hour. If Takashi fails to reach the laboratory, Coco will be left in the hallway. Both of them will die. Do you get it? Nobody got it. No matter what happens, stay away from IBF until 17 years from now. If you save Takashi and Coco now, the events in 2034 will fail to take place. If that happens, I will not appear. But the fact that I'm here now talking to you means that you did that successfully. So, if I do not appear, I'll be unable to save Takashi and Coco in 2017, which will form a time paradox, and Takashi and Coco will disappear. Oh god, now it's just the Ocarina of Time Owl. Do you want me to repeat all that? Don't do it, you. Don't accidentally click yes. Don't accidentally click yes. Oh god, she did. She hit yes. Oh no. Oh no, she hit yes. The owl's explaining it all again. Oh no. Okay, yeah, we played the game. We know this all happened. Did we just name her daughter her same name? It's our fault that they both have the stupid name. Yes, we understand that this was the plan. It wasn't really a master plan, per se. Alright, yeah. Okay, yeah, we're tricking Hokuto. Oh my god. Yes, she understands, I guess. She doesn't really have a choice. The voice in her head told her to do it. And there she is. The voice in her head told her to do it. Yeah, this whole convoluted-ass plotline was all our own fault. Hokuto and I were still confronting Yubisei Harukana. She kept her mouth closed as if she'd spoken about everything. Yubisei Akikana stood next to her, also wordless. In the cold silence, I tried to reorganize in my mind what had happened so far and started wondering, why am I here? I found the answer easily. I've appeared because I was tricked by myself from the past, who was also the me from the present. So really, I was tricked by the me of 2 minutes ago. So smart. The mastermind behind the incident in 2034 was me, Blickwinkle! I don't know, sweet wife of mine, why am I here? I could be playing Wishbone in the Amazing Odyssey right now. You know what? I could be doing anything but this. But I told you I had to do this last route while you were home. This is it. Today was my chance to do this, and now it's midnight, and here I still am. Granted, you know, I could have started streaming at 11 like usual, and then I'd probably be done by now. God willing, this won't take another 3 hours. If this takes another 3 hours, then absolutely not. Thanks to the strength of Hokuto's appeal, Takashi had come back to life, saved Coco, helped her into the pod, and activated the cryogenic suspension. So that was what happened. That moment when Hokuto had shouted out Dad at the bottom of the ocean. Everything had happened for the sake of that moment. Taken 17 years and going back in time to bring the dead back to life. That was everything! That was so much everything! Jesus Christ, was that everything! Oh, so I needed to get there. Sure! In order to save them, I gotta do it myself. Before I realized it, I was already sprinting across the island. Ran on the grass and jumped into the deep brush. Where the hell do I think I'm going? How do I get to the bottom of the ocean? But through the woods as I was thinking. I mean, presumably like Hokuto. Because remember, he's like a super athlete. Thanks to being half Kure. I got my 9-foot, like, back handsprings and stuff. I looked around. I didn't see anything that resembled a mini-sub. I tried to catch my breath. I walked around the docks. I noticed there were broken pieces of rock in the middle of the open area. All the pieces scattered around were huge. Are we just gonna fling ourselves into the ocean with a rock? This is the dumbest shit I have ever played, and how could you do this to me? Where? Above? Sky? Oh yeah, this was the where is heaven? Above in the sky and below your feet. Put the pieces together and tried to guess the original sentence. Where is heaven? Above the sky and at your feet. It's a stone monument, I whispered. The monument must have fallen down for some reason and broken into pieces. Was it due to the tremor from the accident? Or had it been the passengers who, in a state of panic, had rushed towards the docks and knocked it over? I had no idea what the cause was. I picked up one of the smaller pieces. Oh, it's heavy. It was probably as heavy as Coco. And then, a thought hit me. If I jump into the ocean holding this piece of rock in my arms... Before I had time to think it over, my feet were starting to move. Why not? I ran hard towards the ocean. See, he gets the extra athleticism from his mother, and he gets the insatiable desire to drown from his father. My body flew in the air. I jumped high over the fence. It's drowning time! The letters on the piece said heaven. Hey! At least we went thematic! Holding heaven tightly to my chest, I plummeted into the darkness. As I sank deeper and deeper, felt as if I were running fast with the wind against my face. The seawater pressed hard on my eardrums. I simply endured the pain. Water pressure, incredibly high, squeezed my body. Now we're into that styrofoam cup territory. Felt as if my joints were about to snap into pieces. My chest felt as though it would be crushed. Deeper, deeper, and deeper. And see, it also, when it comes down to this, like, 119 meters thing, completely forgets the part where it also established that we were on thermal vents. So, even assuming you could withstand the water pressure, it'd be too fucking hot. Blob. The air in my lungs came out and a large amount of water poured into them. I automatically gagged and started to choke. Even then, cold seawater filled my windpipe. And see, it shouldn't be cold if we're fucking waddling our way into a thermal vent. As my lungs filled up with water, I felt despair welling up inside of me. Why did I think I needed to go myself? And why did I think I needed to swim? How far had I gone? I looked up and saw the water surface far above. I couldn't go back anymore. But honestly, if I could still see the surface, I hadn't gone very far. I looked below. I couldn't see anything. There was only the blue-black darkness. I couldn't see the bottom of the ocean yet. No matter how fast I sank, 119 meters was still very long. I went deeper and deeper, but the scenery was unchanged. The darkness. The world covered in darkness. It occurred to me that I might just be swallowed by some deep ocean trench and keep falling forever. I began to feel desperate. The only positive thing was that the pain had somehow disappeared. I felt that my conscious mind could still be clear as my sense of pain had numbed. Realized for the first time in my life, actually. To begin with, the body I was in belonged not to me, but to Hokuto. Shit, sorry, kid. Thinking about that, I felt guilty. I needed to return it in one piece. Did someone say One Piece? I couldn't see the bottom of the ocean yet. My brain was running out of oxygen and I started to lose consciousness. Limbs were numb. Numbness turned into spasms. Against my will, my limbs started to go crazy. I almost dropped heaven. I quickly pulled it close to me and held it tighter to my chest. Going deeper, deeper, and deeper. I must have looked like a priest in an exorcism gone wrong. Possessed by an evil spirit, my whole body twitching wildly. I hit a rock surface and stopped sinking. Jesus Christ. My momentum carried me flying out of the water. Put my face above the pool, started coughing hard, trying to expel all the seawater in my lungs. I clung to the edge of the pool, sucking in deep breaths of air. Coughed hard as I was breathing in and vomited a large amount of water. Oh, we've been here before. The Takashi special. I really understood the suffering Takashi had gone through. Crawled up weakly onto the floor. Whew! No time to relax. They've waited 17 years, but they can't wait any longer. Been 17 years since I'd last been there. Felt the heaviness of all the past years as I smelled the stale odor in the room. Paint on the capsule pod had partially peeled off, and the surface of it was rough and weathered. It's only been 17 years, and no one else has been in here. Why would there be paint damage? Alright. Manipulating the computer terminal, I checked on the status of the pods. Both Coco and Takashi were safe. Under cryogenic suspension, their body temperatures have been kept at 7 degrees Celsius, with their heart rates and breathing reduced to only a few times a minute. They seem to be in good health. The cryogenic suspension device seemed to have worked properly without a single glitch for 17 years. I deactivated the hibernation program for both of the pods. Rise and shine, princess! Coco and Takashi were set to awaken at any time. First, I opened Coco's pod. Coco. Coco! Who is it? It's me, Coco. I came to save you. You came? Yep. Kept my promise, didn't I? The promise? Coco rubbed her eyelids and blinked repeatedly. Oh! I knew it! You did come to save me! Coco jumped up and hugged me. In a new art style. No, was it actually Hokuto who she had hugged? Was it me, or was it Hokuto? Maybe this isn't the time for that existential crisis. I didn't fully understand, but still, I hugged Coco tightly too. No, I've been waiting for you for so long. I know. I've been waiting for so long. I know. I knew you would come and get me. I wanted to see you so bad. Just had to see you again. My Oni-chan. Yeah, but Coco, I'm not actually your brother.
Oh, that's
お
alright.
兄ちゃんのいない人はお兄ちゃんっぽい人のことをお兄ちゃんって呼んでもいいんだから
A girl who doesn't have a brother could call someone who's like a brother Oni-chan. Where's that written? Magna Carta.
ううん
It's not written anywhere.
書いてないよここが
I just decided it. Coco stepped away from me. Coco and I stared at each other, as if we were drawn to each other.
おかしいな
Hey, it's strange.
お兄ちゃんに会ったら
I thought I had so many things to talk to you about
いろんなこと
when I finally saw you,
なのに
but
なんでだろう
I don't know why, but
うまく言葉が出てこないや
I get all tongue-tied.
でも
You've been asleep in a cryopod this whole time. There's not a lot to talk about, probably.
前に言いそびれちゃったこと今言ってもいい
Can I tell you something I couldn't tell you before?
あのね
Well,
ここね
I
きっとびっくりすると思うけど
think you'll be surprised, but
もしかしたら信じてもらえないかもしれないけど
you might not believe me, but yeah, I mean, Takashi can do what he wants. This isn't about him.
ここは
I,
お兄ちゃんのこと好きになってしまったみたい
Oni-chan, I might have fallen in love with you. Coco, this isn't that kind of game. I'm sorry. I mean, I guess it's a little bit that kind of game, but not right now. My heart skipped a few beats. It did not. But I still,
17年
for 17
17
years,
年間ここはお兄ちゃんのこと待ってたんだよ
I've been waiting for you, Oni-chan.
17年前からお兄ちゃんのこと
I've known about you since 17 years ago, you see?
それにお兄ちゃんはずっとここのそばで見守ってくれて
You've
た
been
じゃない
watching over me this whole time.
ここもずっとお兄ちゃんのことを
But I've been watching you, too. It all started to make sense to me. Coco and I had been sharing the same time. I must have been sharing experiences with Coco through Takashi's point of view. I'd always been by Coco's
好
side.
きになっちゃダメかな
So, would it be bad if I fell in love with you? I don't think so, really. Well then, it's decided.
だからお兄ちゃんとここは恋人
From now on, you and I are sweethearts, okay? Lol. Yeah, you know. I guess at least she's of age now. She's done it. She's reached the ideal anime state of a 31-year-old with the body of a 10-year-old. This is what anime's all about. Hey, she was a 14-year-old with the body of a 10-year-old before. Before I got a chance to ask her back, Coco jumped into my arms again. Coco had regained all her strength. Maybe the antibody had kicked in while she was under cryogenic suspension. Whatever it was, I was relieved. My heart was filled with waves of happiness. It had taken me a while, but it was finally Takashi's turn. I gave the body back over to Hokuto, since I wanted them to have a family moment. Hokuto opened Takashi's pod.
お父さんお父さん起きてよ
Dad, wake up!
パパ
That's right. I fucking said stop calling me Oto-san. I said call me Papa. Takashi abruptly woke up.
どこだここは
Where is this? He looked around confused. Takashi realized that Hokuto's face was in front of him and said,
お前は
Who
お前は
on earth are you?
僕だよお父
It's
さん
me, Dad! The voice in your head! Takashi took a close look at Hokuto's face. He looked over Hokuto's whole body. He closed his eyes tightly and started banging his forehead with his palm. He opened his eyes and glared at the examination room wall.
Then Takashi gasped, as if he realized something, and looked at Hokuto again.
じゃあお前が北斗なのか？
You're that Hokuto? That's
そうだ
right!
よお父さん
It's me, Dad!
お父さん会いたかったよお父さん
I missed you so much. We never met, but I missed you. I even drowned myself just to feel something.
お父さん
Raising his voice like a child, Hokuto rubbed his face against Takashi's chest.
ちょっと待ってくれ北斗
Wait. Slow it down a notch.
落ち着けどう
Take it easy, will you? All right? Takashi tapped Hokuto on the back. Takashi raised himself and stretched his legs outside the pod. Coco rushed at him. You're still wet. That sucks. Yikes. Coco hastily jumped at Takashi and hugged
お
him.
ココなんだすっかり元気になったみたいじゃないか
Coco, you look all better now.
痛いとこどこもないよ
Uh-huh. I don't have a single sore spot.
そうか作戦は見事に成功したってわけだな
It's like the plan worked out beautifully, didn't it?
よかった
Oh, I'm glad.
お父さん
Hokuto jumped at Takashi and hugged him just like Coco
はい
did.
ストッピング
Takashi forcefully peeled him away.
どうしてなんで拒絶
Why?
する
Why don't you want me to hug you?
のその質問に答える前に一つ聞きたいことがある
Before I answer that, there's something I want to ask you. What?
俺はどれぐらい眠ってたんだ
How long have I been sleeping?
1日か
A
2
day?
日
2 days?
かまさか1週間ってことはないよな
Oh man, I didn't sleep for a week, did I?
え
Good news, it wasn't a week.
その反応から察するに
Guessing from your
1
reaction,
週間以
it's been
上なのか
more than a week?
1ヶ月
A month?
3ヶ月かな
3 months? Maybe? Oh, you gotta be
じゃあ
kidding.
何か俺は
mean, I-
夏を通り越して
Slept past
秋ま
summer?
で
Into autumn? Hokuto and Coco closed their eyes and shook their heads.
今日は5月7日日曜日
Today is Sunday, May 7th,
ゴールデンウィークの最終日だよ
last day of Golden Week. Oh, come
なん
on.
だよ脅かしやがって
You had me scared for a
結
second
局
there.
あれからまだ数時間しか経ってないってこと
Oh,
だ
so it's only been a few hours since then. Hokuto and Coco looked at each other, nodded, and
お
said,
父さん驚かないでね
Okay, I don't want you to panic at your advanced age.
落ち着いて聞いてほしいの
Calm down and listen.
実は
Actually,
タケピョンが
眠ってた
you've
時
been
間は
sleeping for
17年
17 years. And after a while, Yubisei Harukana took a small submersible to pick us up at the IBF pool. Which means I did not have to drown myself to get down there, but... You know, you can't hold style against a guy.
石碑を抱えて海に潜るなんて正気の沙汰とは思えないわ
Thank you. Gotta be out of your mind to dive into the ocean like
しかも
that.
水深119メートルの海に潜るなんて
119 meters holding onto a fucking rock?
北斗知らないのこの世界には潜水艇という素晴らしく安全な海中航行用の船が存在するのよ
Don't you know, Hokuto? In this world, there's this wonderful safe vessel for going underwater called a submarine.
どうして一声かけてくれなかった
Why
の
didn't you let me
あ
know?
なたはバカ
You're
生粋
stupid.
のバカ
Ugh,
史上最大級
foolishness.
の大バカ野郎
You might be the dumbest guy in history. Hey, don't disrespect my father like that. He's the dumbest guy in history.
まず間違いな
I'm number 2. Yeah.
父親の遺伝ね
Must come from your father's side of the family. Exactly. Thank you. We're the dumbest guy in history. Kept picking on Hokuto until they reached the surface. Hokuto must have been thinking, it wasn't really me who decided to jump into the ocean. It was the voice in my head. The whole time, Takashi still hadn't accepted the fact he'd been sleeping for 17 years. No matter how many times they tried to explain, he just wouldn't listen. Therefore, Takashi still couldn't believe that Hokuto was truly his son. Under the bright sunlight, Takashi, Koko, Hokuto, and Pipi were hanging around.
おはよ
Just chillin'.
うっていい言葉だよな。
Ah, those are such nice words.
しっかり起きて頑張らなきゃなって気
Make
持ち
me
になる。
feel like getting up and doing my best.
そうだね。
I agree.
ここも
And the robot dog is back. Okay then, I'll say it too.
タケピョン
Ohayo.
ああ、おはよう、ここ。
じゃあ僕も
Well, me too.
おはようお父さん
Where's Sarah?
おはよう、息子。
We're just gonna completely... You know, those other characters didn't really matter all that much.
そんなもん俺にはいないんだ
Son? I don't have a
娘もい
son.
るよ
You've got a daughter too.
勝手に増やすなよ
Hey, don't start adding kids like
じゃあ
that.
何か俺はこの年で2児の父親だってのか
Telling me I'm the father of 2 children at my age? I'm 37, you know? That's about the time you should be done. Biologically.
そうだよ
That's right.
だってそうなんだからしょうがないじゃないか
And it's true, whether you like it or not.
ねカカ
Right, Coco?
ホク
Right? Hokutan? Listening to their cheerful laughter, I thought to myself, I should be going back to where I came from. As I began to fade, I heard only their happy voices behind me.
タケピョンタケピョン
ん
ここね新しいお兄ちゃん
I've
が
got
で
a
き
new
た
Oni-chan.
お兄ちゃん
お兄ちゃんでもあり彼氏さんでもあるんだけど
He's actually my Oni-chan and my boyfriend at the same time.
よかったじゃないか
Really? Well, good for you.
ねえねえお父さんお父さん
You know, turns out the actual title of this is My Stepbrother Put Me in a Cryogenic Chamber for 17 Years.
だからお父さんって呼ぶな
Dad, told you not to call me
じゃ
Dad.
あパパ
How about Papa then?
パパもダメだ
No!
なんでだよパパって呼べって言ったくせに
You told me to call you Papa before.
あれは口が滑っただけだ
I was just trying to say a cool last word, okay?
タケピョンタケピョン
なんだ
What?
プクプーププクプー
Same girl.
意味わかんねえよ
Ah, you're not making any
ねえお
sense.
父さんお父さんなんだよ
Oh my god, Takashi, you only have annoying children. Has anyone ever told you that?
チュワチュワチュワチュワチュワーんお前もかどうしたピピ遠吠えかよ
You just wanted to howl.
タケピヨタケピヨ
呼び方変わってるし
Stop changing my nickname.
ココちゃんのショートコント
Coco-chan short comedy!
怪獣だったら
Coco-chan were a monster.
終わっちゃったよおじいちゃんの息子おばあちゃんの息子紛らわしい
Everybody's just saying
もしも3年
nonsense.
生になったら3年生は最上級生なので忘れ物をしないよいつも分度器を忘れるので作文だろそれは頑張れよ忘れ今度はなんだピピ
The chaos never stops.
タケピョンタケピョン
なんだ今度
The
は
chaos never
し
stops.
てなさい永遠にしてなさいお父さんお母さん両党になったの俺思いつかねえなら呼ぶな遠吠えだろどうせまたあ短くなった短くなったなんかちょっと
タケピョンタケピョン
だからなんだよ
プクプープクプ
Yeah, this is how Takashi ended up with all these children and immediately went to the store for milk.
戻っちゃったよ
I decided to leave as I was hearing their happy voices.
ちょっと待って
Because God knows drowned himself. God knows those happy voices were never going to stop.
またきっと会えるよね
Can I see you again? Oh no, Coco, I'm gonna close this and I'm gonna delete the disk image off my hard drive. I'm gonna be real with you, girl.
絶対会えるの必ず会えるの
I know I'll see you again. No matter what. That's a threat, Coco.
ココ信じてるから
Oh, and I believe in the you that believes in me, anime girl.
そうでしょ
Right. Because after all, I'm your Oni-chan.
ことお兄ちゃんは
Oh no, because we're both from the sun. Now we have the looming threat that Coco is a real person who knows who we are. I don't like that implication.
超能力を使えるんだから
We can use psychic powers.
だからお兄ちゃんも信じて
So, believe in me
こことお
too.
兄ちゃんの世界は
Your world and my world are connected.
二つの世界が今は一つに
Our two worlds are going to be united. This is a threat!
その結び目にあるのは
At the intersection, there's a
僕は
perspective.
いつまでもいつまでも
And I'll always be with you, Oni-chan.
はいじゃあまたね
Okay, see you then!
お兄ちゃん
Watch your ass, Oni-chan! Watch your ass, Oni-chan. Oh, is this the rock beat of sweet, sweet freedom? Oh. Whoosh. It's a montage. Oh. Somebody's voice sounded familiar the last time I played. And I meant to look it up, and now I can't remember who it was. Oh, did we do the musical number with all the voice actors? Because it was 2002? Okay, we can't skip the credits and get something. Well, this is just like the beginning, but now we're leaving. Ooh. 9 people and 2 animals. Oh, if it's not my wife being cute. Damn. Thank God one of those went to Test Player 22, who cannot be a real human being. But look! You hit Ashley in there. Straight line of the horizon, stretching into the distance, dividing the sea from the heavens. Oh god, this game is a Mobius strip. That's like the worst possible case. For me, it had only been 6 days. For you, it was the worst day of your life. I had gotten separated from my friends that day, ended up waiting for myself for an elevator, ended up surviving for 6 days, and sucked 17 years into the future. It's like my friends never gave a shit. Found out I had a 16-year-old daughter and son. Really impressive for me as a 20-year-old. It was a dream. How come they drew a new sprite for Hokuto but couldn't be asked to draw a new one for Sarah? This one's just awkwardly blown up. Hey, this is her pointing and laughing at you sprite. I wasn't dreaming. Girl called Sarah pulled up close to me. Girl was wearing a high school uniform I'd never seen before, because it's been 17 years. Hey, look at this. You know, I've been watching you ever since I was a little baby girl. Sarah stuck out a pendant with a mirror attached to it. On the mirror side, there was nothing, but... I don't really understand, but that's okay, daughter of mine. Can't believe how tall you've gotten. Saying that, I stroked her hair. Since I'd come that far, decided there was no reason to hold back. Besides, all of it was a dream. And if I had such a cute daughter, what did it matter anyway? No reason to resist the whole situation. And as I was thinking that,
お父さんずるいよ
oh no, my kids are annoying.
あんなに散々言ってたくせに
You kept telling me, don't call you
どうして
dad.
サラのことだけ可
How
愛
come
が
you
るの
act all fatherly with Sarah?
ねえパパ今度手裏剣村に連れて行ってほしいでござる
I want to go to Ninja Town for some fun someday.
手裏剣村かいいでござるぞ
Eh,
一
why
緒
not?
に行こうでござる
Sounds good to me.
こら無視すんな
Hey, stop ignoring
な
me.
んでサラの言うことだけ
Yeah, where did
全部
his
受け入れるんだ
genetics
よ
come from? Who the hell is this kid blonde?
どうして僕の言うことは聞いてくれないの
You bleach your hair, kid?
ねえなんでどうしてなのお父さん
別に無視してるわけじゃないさ
I mean, I am, but I'm not ignoring you.
ただそういう質問に
I
は
just don't want to
答えたく
answer
ない
those
だけで
kinds of questions.
そういう質問
Those kinds of questions? Yeah,
俺は意味のない質問には
I
答え
don't
ないこと
answer
にしたんだ
meaningless
よ
questions. Nailing this parenting thing.
俺は意味のない質問には答えないことにしたんだよ
I could hear his words coming from a distance, the same words I used to say 17 years before. In order to protect myself from the strong May sunshine, I stayed inside the boat. I was going to say, like, they really forgot the whole except Cure's get skin cancer crazy fast thing. Takashi was on the deck over by the railing talking to the two kids. Yeah, that was why I always kept quiet whenever he asked me something. There was so much I wanted to talk about. I wanted to tell him about every single day that had passed in those long 17 years. But for the time being, like that, watching him innocently playing with the children, that alone was enough for me. Everything that happened up until that point was meaningless. He was there, right in front of me, and the two children were there. Nothing more I could have hoped for. I'd found happiness. I was immersed in it, drowning in it, intoxicated by it. That was how I truly felt. It seemed to me that all the days filled with struggle and sadness had been for that day, that moment. Yeah, I guess fucking, like, husband, like, wifey? Sure. Hokuto and Sarah were on both sides of him, and even when he tried to throw them off, they clung to him. I absently petted Charmy, who was riding on my shoulder as I watched the scene before me. Fudanari Takashi.
だったら生きろ
Me in a washing machine.
生きている限り生きろ
As long as you're alive,
大丈
live!
夫俺は死なない
And then he did. After that, he jumped from our taxi. Stupid man. But he kept his promise. So, there was something I had to tell him. Going outside, wrapped in my 100% UV protective clothing, No, okay, they were like, shit, we really screwed up with this vampire thing. She has special clothes. Being careful that he wouldn't notice the deep breaths I was taking, I went and stood in front of him.
おかえりなさい
Welcome home. Suddenly, he pulled me close, into his strong arms and solid chest. My body was wrapped in a heat which threatened to melt me, and for one moment, my heart stopped beating.
ただいまつぐみ
Back, Sugumi.
遅くなって悪かった
Sorry for taking so long, he whispered.
それにしても
You know,
相変わらず可愛いな
you're
お前
cute as ever.
え
Yeah, this is the kind of character design that you look at and go, yeah. Strong arms, solid chest.
いやだってあまりにも可愛いからさ
Oh, you're too
どう
cute.
しちゃったのよいきな
What's
り
with you all of a sudden?
可愛すぎて食べちゃいたいぐらいだ
So cute I could eat you up. Yum, 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 yum.
何よ
What are
なん
you
でそんな
talking
こと
about?
やっぱりお前
You
は
sure
チャ
are
ーミングだ
charming.
チャーミングだからチャミいい名前だ
I
ね
suppose that's why they call you Charmy. It's a good name. I forcefully pried myself away from Takashi's chest. His eyes were leveled at my shoulder. I looked over to see what he was staring at. Charmy was busy grooming himself with jerky movements using both of his front paws. Ah, it's true. That is a hamster's charm point. Damn, he's so right.
もうたけしのバカ
Ah, you're such a jerk, Takashi. Drown him. Drown him. He loves it.
たけしのバカ
Mama let out a yell and spun around and went back inside the boat. With tail wagging. She moved unexpectedly, and Charmy, who'd been riding on her shoulder, lost his balance and fell to the
お
deck.
いつぐみどうしたんだよ
Dad went chasing after Mom. They're always like this. A series of frightful sounds ensued. Looked over the other side of the window and could see Mama wildly brandishing the head of the costume she'd worn. Oh! It's her fursuit! It's her lemur fursuit! Well, that makes the last scene feel a little extra weird. She donned one of the lemur costumes in order to stay out of the sun. 100% protective lemur suit, yeah. Oh, Charmy. Mama had already told me about the little hamster's ordeal. When I thought about how Charmy had lived through the same circumstances we had, it made my heart warm. His heartbeat was tiny, but consistent. It went without saying, but I thought to myself, Charmy is living each moment to the fullest. I like how they're using Sarah's, epilogue as the hamster's epilogue, actually.
ねえお兄ちゃん
We don't have a lot to say about Sarah, but this little guy, he's living his best hamster life.
どうなっちゃうって
ライプリヒにまたライプリヒに
Oh, no, Lieblich is definitely gonna come after you all. Yeah, no, don't worry about
心
it.
配しないでナッキ先輩
Oh, yeah, what's up,
じゃ
you?
なかった田中先生優美生はるかなさんでしたよね
I mean, granted, you could just use Dr. Tanaka and you. But okay.
大丈夫ってどういうこ
What
と
do
な
you
の
mean we'll be alright?
こういうことよ
What I mean is... Murmuring that, she took out the newspaper that had been tucked into her pocket and handed it to my brother. He opened it up. I nestled against his shoulder and looked at the front page headline. Lieblich Pharmaceuticals, responsible for outbreak of Tiflu virus? Compulsory investigation to begin in a day or two. It's been 17 years, but I guess they're finally investigating. Yes? When a whistleblower from the Japanese-German Joint Med Research Facility came forward earlier this week. Who could that have been, you? Hmm.
ライプリヒ製薬の影響力は国家権力にまで深く浸透してい
Lieblich
るか
has a
ら
lot of influence, even political clout at the
い
national
ろいろと
level.
根回しは大変だったんだけど
Laying the groundwork for this was really tough, but Dr. Tanaka took out an old marker and scratched it against her
じ
cheek.
ゃあここに書いてある内部告発をした人っていう
So
の
the
は
whistleblower mentioned in this article is...
そう私
That's right! It was me!
本当はマスコミや
Actually,
警察
I
にリー
leaked
ク
this
し
to
た
the
の
police and the
はだい
press
ぶ前なんだけど
quite a long time ago.
でも裏でこそこそっと
17 years ago.
ことをして
There was a lot of behind-the-scenes maneuvering.
5月7日になるまでは
So I told him, whatever happens,
何が
don't
あって
move
も動
before
かない
May 7th.
パパとあのココちゃんっていう女の子を助けるため
You
に
mean in order to rescue Dad and that girl, Coco-chan?
そういうこと
That's right.
じゃあ
The voices in my head told me to wait until then.
もう私たち追いかけられずに済むんだ
That means they won't come after us and we're free. It doesn't, but congratulations.
だから
There's
もう
nothing
何
to
も
worry
心配
about,
しなくて
okay?
もいいのよ
Dr. Tanaka smiled kindly. Just then,
心配しなくてもいい
nothing to worry about. How can you say that?
お母さん誰に向かって言ってるのか
Do
分
you
か
have
っ
any
てる
clue
の
who you're talking to?
マヨが
Do you have any idea how hard a time that Mayo's
今
been
まで
through?
どれほど辛い
Do you
思いを
stop
して
to
きた
think
の
about that, Mom?
お母さん考えたことあるのちょっとお母さん 一緒に来て。
Come here, Mom, for a second.
話があるの。
I have something to tell you.
話があるの。
Since I'm really weirdly your clone, but then you ended up immortal, so you didn't actually need a clone. So now you're like 2 out of 3 immortalities. I guess you're winning the immortality game.
話って何？
What do you want to talk about?
言わなくても分かってるでし
You
ょ。
already know, don't you?
お母さんは2025年に
2025. That's now.
第三視点を研
You
究する
started working at Lemu to conduct research into the third eye.
本当の倉成武史とあのココっていう女の子を救うために。
I mean, in order to save the real Kurenari Takashi and that girl called Coco.
だったらレミューで働いてたんなら
If you're working at Lemu, you could have found a way to rescue Mayo, who's been locked up at Lieblic's facility all this time.
つぐみと子供たちを会わせてあげることだってできたで
You
し
could have
ょ。
reunited Sugumi and her kids, right?
なのにどうして
Why didn't...
それは
It had to be done to save Kurenari and Coco. I didn't dare change history. Because I made a promise to Blickwinkle in 2017.
母さん何も教えてくれないのね。
So you aren't gonna tell me anything, are ya?
でもこの一件が起きる前に説明し
Look,
たところで
where would you even begin?
ユウはきっと信じてくれなかったでしょ。だからって騙すなんてひど
You
いよ。
didn't have to lie to
今
me.
まで18年間
You've lied to me
私
these
は騙され続け
18
てき
years.
たんだよ。
I had. There was really nothing I could do to apologize.
嘘はつかないで隠さないで全部教えてほしいの。
Surely there is no room left for anything else she could possibly be lying to you about at this point.
まだ私に言ってないことあるんでしょ。
There are still things you haven't told me yet, right?
本当のお父さんのことお母さんのこと
Like who my real mom and dad were.
聞かせて
Tell me,
お願い
please.
だから。
Oh, you're a clone. I told her about her father, Yoichi, and mother, Yukie. I told her the truth, all of it. Coco was sick. We'd all headed to the IBF research lab. Yeah, we lived all of this.
ユウまさか
Oh yeah, that's right. In this instance,
再会すること
the researcher was Yu's father. Oh, so there we go. TB was a potent virus with exceedingly high mortality rate on account of making you bleed everywhere. Liebig was planning to sell it to military buyers around the world. Father, whose sense of justice was stronger than anyone I had known, appealed to the company to stop development of the virus immediately. Of course, they refused. That being the case, my father made up his mind. He hacked into the highly protected company database, collected evidence, and prepared to leak the information to the press. However, Lieblich found out before he could make his move and put him in a situation he could not escape from. They threatened my father, telling him, "Should you escape from here, your wife and child will die, probably in an unfortunate car accident." And my mother Yukie, Lieblich said, "Your husband is missing after a tragic accident." Making his rounds on the Lemu premises, he slipped and fell into the ocean. Damn, that sucks. We're doing everything we can to search the surrounding waters, but his remains still have not been located. Drowning's a real theme. It was the first summer of my life. Time passed and it was 2017. My father, who'd been maintaining the computer system for IBF, was caught up in the TB outbreak. All the researchers fled one by one. My father stayed in IBF because he was worried about me. My father knew I was working at Lemu, and my father, right in front of my eyes, after enduring one disaster after another and gasping in pain while clawing at his throat, struggled until the end to say,
娘を
"My daughter,
娘を
take care of her." His last words.
この事故を発端としてティーフブラウイルスは世界中に蔓延し
Beefblau broke out, caused terrible suffering all over the world.
ラ
But
イプリー製薬
Lieblich Pharmaceuticals concealed
ウイルスの
everything.
ことや研
The truth
究所の
about the
存在
virus
自
in
体
the
を隠
research
蔽し
facility was locked away.
事件を完全に
The
press only reported that it was a deadly virus of unknown origin. Even the experts had no idea where the disease really came from. However, the incubation period was very short, so even though the death rate was high, in many cases, the carrier died before infecting others. So, while the TB virus spread rapidly for a time, by 2019, only 2 years after the accident, the pace and scale of the disease's destruction gradually waned. And it didn't mean there weren't victims. The number of people the virus killed was said to have reached several tens of thousands. One of them was my mother, Yukie. It was 15 years ago that my mother caught TB and it robbed her of her life. My sadness, anger, and hatred all came together then. I swore I'd get revenge on Lieblich. I infiltrated Lemu and simultaneously started formulating a plan to rescue Kudenari and Koko, who were trapped in the research facility. The person who helped me was Kuburaki Ryogo. Spent every moment for the last 17 years preparing for it. It was the only thing I lived for up until that point, to make Lieblich pay for taking my mother and my father from me, and to save my friends Kudenari and Koko. In order to do that, we needed to discover the third eye, Blickwinkle. Yeah, we just played the game, but thank you for the recap. Yu's just like, why did I fucking ask? See, look at that face. I knew you wouldn't believe me. She looked at me. And again, who would believe a story like that? Doesn't change the fact it's the truth. I reached out to stroke her hair. She stared at me blankly, looking just like I did 17 years before. Reckless, full of fire, pure, all to the point of being dangerous and unable to control her emotions. Her innocent eyes had seen none of the evil and corruption in the world. Looking into her eyes, I could read everything she was thinking. She wasn't mad. She wasn't unhappy. Just afraid to accept the truth. She didn't know how to handle it and was scared and embarrassed by that fact. So I reached out and held her closely. There's no need for you to say anything. I thought that quietly to myself. I understand what you're trying to tell me, but I'm going to be traumatized for the rest of my life. Because a voice in your head, 17 years ago, said you had to summon the third eye from the fourth dimension? Really, Mom? But there's something I have to know. What do I mean to you? I laughed without thinking and replied, You're everything to me. Did we not just kind of cover her side? But okay. I wanted to tell her to tell me, you're my daughter, but for some reason it didn't bother me. Shouldn't you be furious? And you should slap her across the face. Another voice inside my head murmured that. How many voices do we have going on? Which dimensions are they from? Couldn't get angry. I relaxed against my mother, who held me tightly. I could only feel dizzy from her warmth. All my normal reactions, such as lashing out like a wild animal and my sudden mood swings, the warmth of her hug took all that away. Aren't we all Blickwinkle? In the end? Oof. It was an instinctive itch that transcended my basic reason. It was beyond my ability to control. In the end, no matter what anyone said, the woman in front of me was my mother. She wasn't much of a mother. Damn! But to me, she was the only mother I had, and that was all there was to it. That moment it occurred to me. I only differed from other people in the way that I was born. And honestly, if they legalized cloning in 2010, it's probably not all that unrare almost 15 years later, so... I'd been told since I was a little girl that there'd been lots of things in the world that were hard to believe. In junior high and high school, all of my friends loved to talk about all kinds of strange things. Psychic phenomena, supernatural powers, UFOs, Umas. Fuck you mean Umas? Thought I dismissed all those things as girlish fantasies. But something had changed. My existence itself was hard to explain. Thought about the fact that I myself, the girl called you, was somewhat of a mystic entity. An ectoplasm, cattle mutilations, Rip Van Winkle, Lemurian civilizations. All those seem like normal everyday things. Even the third eye. While those thoughts drifted through my head, my mother quietly went inside of the boat. Left by myself on the corner of the deck, I basked in the lingering warmth that remained on my skin. The boat rocked back and forth as it cut through the waves. The smell of the ocean quietly wafted by, carried by the sea breeze.
こんなとこにいたんだ。探したんだよ。
I've been looking for you. That kid, Hokuto, came walking over to me.
ユウに相談したいことがあって。
Something I wanted to ask you.
相談
Hokuto nodded deeply and said,
大学に入ったら考古学を専攻しようと思ってるんだ
I've
け
been
ど。
thinking, I want to study archaeology when I go to college.
僕大学に入ったら
It's very cute how they're like linking all of these together at least. Told you what had been on my
第
mind.
三視点についてもっといろいろと
Well,
勉強したいから。
because I want to study more about the third eye. I don't think archaeology is going to take you there, but okay. Are you stupid? There's no such thing as the third eye. I thought for sure she'd come back with something like that, so I was off guard by her reply.
相談の内容は
What did you want to ask me about?
そんなことを
Stuff. I already made up my mind that I'm going to study archaeology, but still, I don't really know much about
だ
it.
から差し当たってどんなことを予習しておくべきだとか
Like what
最
kind
適
of
な
things
入
I
門
should
書
do
みた
to
いなものはある
prepare.
のかとか
Or if there are any good books you know that are good primers
そ
on
ん
the
な感じのアド
subject.
バイスをしてもらえたらなーなんて
I
思っ
was
て
hoping you could give me some
ア
advice.
ドバイスって言われてもね
Well, I don't know what kind of advice I can
私もま
give.
だ大学に入ったばっかりだし
I only just
授業って
started
言っても
college.
ほとんどが環境だ
I've
ったり
only
する
really
わけ
taken
だ
my
し
requisites, so
環境
一般教養科目のこと
required
考
classes?
古学を専門的に勉強できるようになるのは
In order to major in archaeology, you've got to be a
そ
junior.
うなんだ
It's how college works.
だから私に助言を求められても
Sorry, but I can't really tell you
で
anything.
も一つだけ
But maybe there's one
考
thing.
古学はやめといた方がいいと思うよ
You should probably study something else.
どうして
考古学って
Archaeology is way more boring than you're probably thinking. It's a lot different than what they show in the movies.
それにね
Besides,
第三視点を本気で勉強したいんだったら哲学とか心理学とかそっちの方面に進んだ方が的
if
確
you
だ
want
と
to
思う
study about the third eye, you're better off attacking it from the direction of philosophy or
考古学って
psychology.
いうのはそもそも人類史を研究する学問なんだから
In the first place, archaeology is a subject that studies
Demo.
human
い
history.
いんだよもう決めちゃったんだもん
But it's okay. I already
僕
made
は
up my
人類
mind.
史的な側面から第三視点についてアプローチしようと考えているわけ
Thinking
で
I can approach the study of the third eye from the angle of human history.
またまた小難しいこと言っちゃって
There you go, being difficult as
本当は
always.
ただ単に私と同じ分野に
I
進み
think
た
the
かった
real
だけ
reason
なん
you
じ
want
ゃ
to
ない
study it
の
is so you can be in the same field as me.
私に
Obvious you like me.
うんそうかもね
Oh, yeah, that's right. Seems like my reply caught her off guard.
僕が考古学を専攻することは運命的に半分決まっちゃってるようなものだししょうがないんだよ
Part of me feels like choosing to study archaeology was already half decided by destiny, so I don't have a choice.
運命的
By destiny?
うん別の歴史の流れの中では僕はそんな未来を歩むことになってるんだ
In another space-time continuum, I'm destined to walk down that path in the future.
言うにはいくら説明したって分かってもらえないと思
I
う
don't think you'll understand it no matter how I
Demo.
try to explain it
僕は
anyway,
確かに
but
見たんだよ
I know what I saw.
その未来では
In that future, you and I were going out.
付き合っ
And
ててだからきっとこの歴
so
史の中で
pretty
も
sure that in this time,
Both of
you and
you
I are destined to be together.
ちょっと待ってよ少年勝手に決めないでよ
I mean, you know, shoot your shot any way you want, I
運命だか
guess.
なんだか知らないけど
I
そう
don't
い
know
うこ
that
と
much
は
about fate,
お
but
互いの承
things
認
are
と了解
decided
を
with
得て
both
初めて
people's
成立する
consent.
関係でしょ
After that happens, you start
そう
going
だ
out.
ねじゃあ今言うよ
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll say it right now. Yeah.
優美生秋かなさん僕と付き合ってください
Will you go out with me?
なぜなら僕はあなたのこ
Because
と
I'm
が
crazy.
大好きだから
About you! Crazy about you! In 2017, I was still 15. I was stuck in Lemu in a total state of confusion with no memory, and I'd even forgotten my name. Man, ending up with no name and then also kind of hidden in the background. Here's the character that got totally blitzed and forgotten. Glowing into that void was her simple, pure smile, innocent mannerisms, and genuine sincerity. From that point on for 6 days, she was in my thoughts constantly. Found myself looking at her all the time. I didn't have the courage to tell her, but it was enough for me to just see her. That's how fond I was of her. I loved her. Yagami Koko. And then May 6th, the fateful day arrived. I'd come down with TB, and the rescue team found me. I'd lost consciousness. By the time I found out that Koko had been left behind in the research facility, days had already passed. When you told me what happened, I was shocked. And then the two of you embarked on a crazy 17-year plan to summon Blickwinkle. That's great. I want to go to bed, though. He's thinking about the crazy 17-year plan to save you. You're not worried about something, are you? Besides, she's already in love with Blickwinkle. You're too late, man. I mean, really, you guys would have survived longer. You were in cryostasis.
そうかな。
そうだよ。ほら、だから早く早く。みんな翔ちゃんの少年レインの歌が聞きたいって言って待ってるんだ。仮面母呼吸なんだから。
We're waiting and waiting and waiting.
みんなでひよこごっこ大会することになってるんだから。
Oh yeah, Sora.
なあ、ソラ。おい、ソラ。ほら、ちゃんと聞いてるのか？
何でしたっけ？
これだよ、これ。ピピ、いきなり動かなくなっちゃったからさ、調べてもらおうと思って。
いきなりですか？何か考えられる原因は？
うん、ある。
How is Sora on the
突
boat?
然船室の中で暴れ始めて。
Oh wait, that's right. There's like a real human being Sora now.
逆に弾き飛ばされちゃって。で、尻餅をついたところ
Why
に
not?
ピがいて。
If you have a sexy AI, you may as well convert it into a sexy robot.
ピピの上に乗っかってしまったと
Big
いう
leap
こと
in
ですか？
technology for 17 years, but okay. I landed right on top of him. Maybe that's what could have caused it?
そしたら動かなくなってしまい。
Yeah, you broke it.
ちょっと貸してください。
You broke it, Sora.
おかしいです。おそらくバッテリー切れではない。
そっか。よかったよかった。俺が壊したなんて言ったら、ココだけじゃなく、ユウにも、ユウの娘にも恨まれるだろうからな。
Yeah, if you broke the robot
私だっ
dog,
て
everyone would be
恨み
pissed
ま
at
す
you.
よ。私もピピには
I'm
愛着を
fond
持
of
ってい
PP
るの
too,
で
you
す。
know?
いいえ、愛着などという言葉では言い表せないぐらい。
Yeah, they've got a robot kinship, Takashi.
深いところで
Inconsiderate
そ
of
も
you.
そも今から17年前、ピピが海の底に潜ってテラバイトディスクを拾ってこなかった
PP
ら
hadn't picked up my
今
terabyte
の
disk.
私は
I
存在
wouldn't
してい
be
ない
here
の
right
です。
now.
そして洋上に浮かび上がったピピを田中さん、優美星はるかなさんのこ
And
とです
after
が、
PP got to the surface, Yubisei
彼
Harukana-san
女がピピを回収し
took the
デ
data
ィ
off
ス
the
クに
disk
記
and
録さ
copied
れ
it
た
to
デ
the
ータを
body you
私
see
の中
now.
にコピー。だからこそ今の私は17
Smack
年
my
前に皆
microphone.
さんと
Yeah.
過ごした記憶や自我やそういったものを保っていられるの
That's
で
the
す。
reason I was able to maintain the records of what happened to you all
その後、
17 years
ピピ
ago.
は田中さんに引き取られ、それ以来ずっと今日まで田中家の一員として可愛がられてきました。
After that, Tanaka-san took in PP, and from that time on, he's been a member of the
つまり
Tanaka family.
ピピは私たちにとってなくてはならない存在だということです。
PP is an irreplaceable life of all of your lives.
このことは
You put
すでに
respect
浦
on
波
PP's
さんに
name,
お話ししたはず
Takashi.
ですが、
ああ、確かに聞いたよ。でもだからって、
そんなにムキ
You
に
don't
ならな
have
くて
to
もい
get
いじ
so
ゃないか。
serious about it.
とにかくピピは壊れてなかったわけだし。
He just asked you to what was wrong with it, and you said, "Oh, the battery." Ah, he could charm me effortlessly with his professor shit.
ところでソラ、一つ聞いてもいいかな。
Sora, can I ask you something?
なんでしょう。
こんなこと聞くのはひょっ
I
とし
hope
た
you
ら
don't
失
think
礼
it's
に
rude
当
of
た
me
る
to
かもしれない
ask,
んだ
but
その空の体についてなんだ。
it's about your body.
体ですか？
ああ、俺が見た感じだと今の空は人間と全く変わらないような肌の質感をしてる
As
し、
far as I can tell, you look totally human. Your
仕
skin,
草とか佇まいとか
the way you
そういうの
move,
も
your
すごく自
appearance,
然で、
everything's so natural.
失礼でもなんでもないじゃないですか。むしろ今のは褒め言葉ですよ。
That's a compliment, isn't it? Thank you. What was the question?
いやだからその
No, no, the question was,
空の体は
what's going on
一体どん
here?
な仕組みになってるの？
不思議ですか？
Is it strange to you?
うん、不思議だ。
A bit. Yeah.
不思議だと思うと同時に
At the same time,
嬉
I'm
しかったり
happy.
だってほらこんな風に触れるように
I
なったか
mean,
ら。
that can actually touch you now. I have 2 kids, and maybe 1 more adopted. But at least I still have a sexy robot girlfriend, right?
倉成さん。
At least the robot's down with it. Holding Pee-Pee firmly to my chest, I grabbed onto Kurenari-san's palm with my free hand. Ah, we're actually touching each other. We can touch each other. Really touch each other. I'd waited those 17 years for that moment.
どうしたんだよ空。酒でも飲んだのか？顔が真っ赤だぞ。
Oh no, he's stupid.
倉成先生、
No!
なんだね茜ヶ崎くん。
世の中には
No,
不思議
Professor.
なことがたくさんあるんですね。先生は私の体のことをお尋ねになったでしょ。私がどうして実体を持つようになったのか。
You wondered how I came to have this body,
そ
right?
の答えは
There's only one answer. It was a miracle.
はい。女神アフロディーテの奇跡です。
Oh, we bringing
Pygmalion.
it back to Pygmalion. Hey, are we being weird over here? Horny? Yeah? Good.
ねえねえ、ピピ見かけなかった？っていうか、ソラさん持ってんじゃん。
Sorry, I was telling Takashi here to put some respect on his name.
ええ。だけどピピ、今バッテリーが切れてるみたいですよ。
Saying that, I handed Pee-Pee over to Coco-chan.
そんなはずない
Not a batteries. That can't be.
さっき充電したばっかりだもん。
I just finished charging him a minute ago. Coco-chan held Pee-Pee between both her hands and started shaking him left to right. He wasn't rechargeable kinetically, so that shouldn't have done anything for him, but... I exclaimed that without thinking. What's that sentence? I explained that without thinking as I realized something. Okay.
わかっちゃいました。
Figured it out. The reason I
原
mean.
因？
スイッチですよ。ただ単にスイッチが切れているだけなん
You
だと
just
思い
need to
ます。
turn on his switch. Then, Coco-chan lifted Pee-Pee up above her. There was a button in his
い
navel.
いですか？いきますよ。
You ready? Here I go. I stuck out my finger and zeroed in on his belly button.
ポ
And
チッとな。
click! I firmly pushed the button. His motor started to run, and I could hear the faint sound of something oscillating. Pee-Pee's eyes came to life.
お礼なんかいいですよ。私はただボタンを押しただけなんですから。
All I did was push a button. And
そう
said
かそう
click.
か。空覚えてて。
I smiled from the bottom of my heart and nodded. The world was full of strange and wonderful things, wasn't it? The discussion about Pygmalion and saying click. Neither of those should have been on my terabyte disk. I guess those did both happen in the wrong timeline. And yet... the stupid memories remain.
こんやろまたんかい。こら。ピーピー。こんやろ。
This is all she got. Running around after Pee-Pee.
いるの？
Oh, it's me! Yo! Right in front of my eyes, I saw the floating outline of my Oni-chan, who I loved dearly. And, well, it wasn't something I saw. Rather, I'm seeing it right now. Right now, at this moment, Coco-chan is looking at you. I cry out suddenly with an elated expression.
こっちこっち。ほら、早く早く。
どうしたの？
何かあった？あれあれ。見てよ。
I point at you. I want to tell everyone you've arrived. Lugumin takes off her hat and squints her eyes against the sunlight.
本当だ。また来てくれたんだね。
Oh, hey, there you are. Charmy, the only one that matters.
あ？なんかいるのか？
Oh yeah, that's right. Set us up. The fun cast photo.
どうしたんですか？タヌキ。いいから
Why is his head like disconnected?
彼ね。
That's me. The boat is suddenly crowded with excitement.
お兄ちゃん出番。
That's me. I wave my arms wildly, hoping, praying, let my thoughts reach my Oni-chan.
そして再び
And please,
お兄ちゃんに
let me
巡り
meet
合
with
う
him
時
again
が
someday.
訪れますよ。
Now, I, Coco, am looking at my Oni-chan. Now, I'm looking at the world where Coco exists. Looking down on it with both of my eyes, I'm sure of it. If the moon is only there because you believe that it will be there when you look for it, then it's possible that I am here and they are here only because we believe they are. Right now, the world exists here. I'm looking at this world. And I am here looking at myself, looking at the world. How far do I go? I don't know. Right now, I am seen. Right now, I'm being seen. We don't actually have to lurk. The end! But in German! Sweet jumpin' Jesus! This is all my wife's fault. Hooray! We lived! Bitch, we lived! Well, happy Thanksgiving! Yay! We made it all the way to Thanksgiving Day! Alright. Guess I should do something crazy and actually go to sleep. It's fine. Watching sumo bashos have trained me to stay up this late anyway. You know what? It's fine. It could be 12 hours. No, I have excuses. Have conversations tomorrow? No. There's no way I'll be able to talk tomorrow. Oh, alright. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. No.